Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
All right, isn't this something? Checking in at 5:39. Here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, she's a Thursday. And we got a great crowd out there. Josh, I don't even want to tell you what I was just reading about.
What's popping?
I don't want to tell you.
Well, I want to know.
I don't want to stress out a future Minnesota Broadcasting Hall of Famer. I was reading all about what they call here unscrupulous tradespeople. And the reason I don't want to tell Cubby about this is you see workers in your home more often than you see family members that actually live there.
That is true. I've got some coming over today.
Unbelievable.
Here's the thing, though. I only hire unscrupulous ones.
Oh, so this is no concern of yours.
No, not at all.
You've got
I seek them out.
Years of experience with...
If I see positive reviews, I'm not interested.
Oh, you see more people with tool belts and ladders and paintbrushes than you see the family members that live in your home as a future Minnesota Broadcasting Hall of Famer.
And that's not true. And if I could, I'd like to, I don't compliment myself very often, but I'm going to here. I called it. Before we moved in, I told my wife, I said, are you sure? This house just seems like there's a lot wrong with it.
Right. You knew.
There was way more.
You had a feeling.
I had a feeling. You got to trust your gut.
That sucks so much.
We are so trapped in that house now. Never going to be able to afford to leave.
I've been in my house now for almost 2 years, and I've only ever had to have somebody out once, and I needed a new AC unit, so they weren't really in the house much, and that's about it.
You know why that is?
Why?
Your wife didn't pick the house. Or I'm sorry, my wife didn't pick the house. Had my wife picked the house, it would have been trouble for you. Yeah, we had to get a brand new furnace and air conditioner the third day we were there.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's
It was in
not
January.
right.
They said, "Hey, you got some. What do they call it? Oh, darn it, I know the name of it. I know people. Help me out. 651-989-9393. It's not an air exchanger, but there's something in the furnace. Basically, it was cracked. It's killing me. I know the name for it, and it was leaking out CO2 or whatever that is. And they said, "Hey, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
We have to." Red tag this. We got to alert the city. So day 3 of owning the house had already started.
I like to think the previous owners set up lawn chairs across the street just to watch, as the struggles that you faced almost immediately upon moving in. They're like, look at this sucker. Look at him. Oh, happy moving day. Yeah. They got popcorn going.
Dana, you know that when they sold that house, they thought, oh, you sorry son of a bitch.
I've been over to Cubby's place a few times, and his pickup is the only one in the driveway without a logo on the door. So I love the stories. I've enjoyed your stories over the years.
Heat exchanger. Thank you, brother and sister.
Heat exchange. You and I exchange heat from time to time. You bought a garbage house, and it's killing you, and you've been hemorrhaging money for decades now.
We wanted a fixer-upper, right? But I still thought, gosh, this might be a little too much. And here's another sign. It sat unsold for almost 4 years.
Whoa.
So a lot of people toured it before us and thought, this might be too much of a project.
Hemorrhaging money. So it says here 20% of homeowners. Now, first off, I want to go on record by saying I don't like to say these things out loud because I worship those people.
So do I.
The electricians and the plumbers and the folks on the roof and the folks working on your floor and the walls and this and that. I worship those people because they do the work that I am, number one, not qualified to do, but number two, not interested at all in undertaking. So I need these people. I will always be so thankful that someone went out there and learned a trade. I should have. So I
wish I knew how to do it too. I ask like questions. Sometimes I think, okay, I got to leave these guys alone because I'm so fascinated by what they do, and it's such a skill.
You become obsessive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm going to miss having those guys there.
They'll always be there.
Eastbound at maybe eastbound at sundown. She said your home inspector should face a firing squad. Yeah, I have. I don't know if you need to go that far, but I'm a little.
Yeah, he mailed it in that day.
But I will say some of that stuff, some of the stuff that's wrong with the house. People, I've had contractors say, you know what? There's no way a home inspector. They don't go through this deep, So and the problem is like something gets fixed, and then they find something else wrong.
I forgot about the home inspector. But you just said a second ago, you said, I'm going to miss those guys. Do you really think there'll be a day where they're not in your home?
Yeah, we're getting there, man. So here's an example.
I hope so.
Shoot, so many texts are coming in. Dang it. I'm sorry. I want to give you credit. Somebody sent in a picture of their deck that is completely falling apart.
Oh, we got a deck pic?
Yeah, we got a deck pic.
Oh,
I love deck pics.
Yeah, me too.
So
I've sent them. I've received them.
The contractor I use now, I met because he came out to take a look at our deck, right? And I've heard this so many times. I hear two things. Did you do this? Because they don't want to insult me because it was done so incorrectly. And I say, no, I wouldn't know how to even screw that up.
Yeah.
And the second is I've never seen this before. I've heard that so many times. So our deck was super wobbly.
Oh.
And I thought it had something to do with they had to remove it to re-stucco the house and put new windows in because we had so much water damage. It was insane. So when they put it back on, they did their best. And I thought, well, that must be it. They had to remove it, put it back on. It's not the same. And so it got so wobbly that we wouldn't even let the dogs out there because when they're bigger dogs and when they'd shake, the whole thing would shake.
Oh, that's so sketchy.
We didn't let people on it for over a year. We didn't let our dogs on it. So they came out and it had these decorative boxes around the posts.
Sure.
Holding it up. And the guy's like, listen, we're going to rebuild this, but the decorative boxes are kind of expensive. Are you cool with just posts? Of course. Yeah, just use posts. So he called me. He's like, here's the thing. We wanted to save your posts. The only problem is you don't have any. I've never seen it. I had no posts holding that thing up. It was just these decorative boxes.
That's all that was holding that?
That was it. He said he was actually saying it was kind of a marvel of engineering that it never fell over, but he had never seen that before, and he builds decks all summer.
You're lucky you didn't end up being crushed by that damn thing.
One Good Eye Jesus sent in the deck pics. Thank you for those.
We don't normally accept that kind of thing around here. We can get in trouble for deck pics, but today is special. So here's the statistic that, like I was saying, I don't even want to say out loud because of how much you worker folks mean to me. 20% of homeowners have been boned hard by shady workers running a scam on their ass. Running a scam.
Well, yeah, they talk about storm chasers for sure. I mean, that...
I didn't even consider those people. I was just considering you hire someone, you have them into your home, and then...
Well, yeah, that's exactly that situation. They come out, maybe they do some work. We had an experience like that where the storm chasers were in our neighborhood, and the guy came over and to take a look. He's like, hey, I'm in your neighborhood. Let me just take a look. I'll jump on your roof. I'll look at a couple things. And he started making indents with his thumb and a tool.
You saw him do this?
Yeah. Yeah, to say, hey, I can get you a certain amount of money for that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm not trying to commit insurance fraud here, and I don't want you to damage my house. So I didn't use that guy. I mean, he was obviously a crook.
I've always heard the stories. I've never had one of those folks walk up on me. I've certainly heard about storm chasers and this and that.
Maybe they just left something on your door if you didn't answer. You've never had that? We've had so much.
Yeah, I get those guys, and then I also get the people that want to spray my yard for bugs.
Okay.
I get at least 10 of those dudes.
Are they on hoverboards or what are those things called? That in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah.
Segways.
Are they on Segways?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and it's usually handsome young men.
I took the time last time some guy rolled up on the Segway to ask him about it. It's like, what's the deal with this?
Yeah, they're all cruising around Segways.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever encountered a storm chaser type of a guy. Let me get on your roof and look. Let me look at your siding, that kind of a thing.
There was one time.
I have had the bug inspector. We'll get the bugs away from your house, right?
Yep.
We used one, and it was beautiful.
Really?
It worked. It was legit from top to bottom.
We've got one.
So just saying, they're not all shady bastards.
We like ours. We had a couple of mice infestations, so they came out. They also took care of the bugs. Those guys are great.
I have a hard time agreeing to the bug thing because I'm like, well, I don't know. They're outside. That's where they're supposed to be.
Well,
I don't mind.
That was our problem. They were inside.
Oh,
so we said, sure, we'll give these fools a shot, and they did the trick.
That almost led to my wife didn't tell me that she hired someone to come out, and this was winter when she did, and it almost led to a call to the cops because all of a sudden I noticed there's footprints all around my house, like up, and then they kind of curved towards the doors, towards the windows, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, somebody was trying to break into our house. And my wife hadn't told me she hired somebody. And so I had mentioned it to her because we were supposed to go to this party. But I'm like, well, I don't want to leave in case this person comes back. And she said, oh, no, that was the bug guy. He was out there spraying. So he's spraying the foundation of the house.
You thought you had a peeping Tom.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought because nobody told me there was somebody coming out.
So the old mantra, if that's the word, when it comes to hiring somebody to do this or that at the house, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Look out for scammers. Nowadays, they usually try to get us over the telephone. But sometimes, they'll come right to your damn door. Oh, man. I hope there is a day, Josh, when you are finally done. No more walls, ceilings,
I think we're there.
Decks.
Yeah.
You think you're getting close.
Because you know how it is when you move into a place and you think, we're going to make this our own. New carpeting, new paint. Well, none of that we've been able to afford yet. It's all fixing crap.
And none of the fun stuff.
The most basic living.
The most recent one is our contractor. We find out the vents aren't attached correctly. He goes up into the attic to try and attach stuff and said, hey, your heating bill's kind of high. I'm like, well, they do seem a little high. And he said, well, it could be because you have no insulation in your attic. None. How does the inspector not catch that one? Anyways.
I hear you. And I forgot about the inspector. Yeah, I remember having a conversation with that guy before I moved into the home I'm in now. Very nice guy. Of course, kind of like when we had a conversation here the other day with a new engineer in the building. I didn't understand 90% of what the inspector was telling me, just like I didn't understand 90% of the conversation we had with the new engineer in the building. But
well, that guy, he talks in a language that most people would never understand.
I didn't understand. So, but back to the home inspector, very nice guy. Of course, there was some that I understood, and I did have certain questions for him. I just wish he would have told me one thing, and maybe I'm asking too much, that he would have been able to give me this information after just inspecting the home for 5-6 hours or however long he was there. I wish he would have told me one thing about my current home. This is the coldest spot in Hennepin County, and possibly the entire state of Minnesota. I live in the coldest home, I'm convinced, at least in the county. He didn't tell me that. I wish he would have. So there you go, Cubby. You haven't had any horror stories, really, where you... I mean, okay, you
Not
thought...
from a contract. Only one from a contractor.
One shady story.
Yeah, and this was our previous house, and it was a hailstorm again. And it was actually right before we closed on the house. There's a really bad hailstorm, and the woman, she picked a contractor, and she moved out. We moved in, and so we're okay, whatever. And they had cut off the exhaust on the outside of the house, those two pipes from the furnace, and they sided over.
Oh, my God.
And I have Apollo out every year to do a tune-up.
That's like, a good way to wake up dead.
That's
right
exactly
there.
what they told me.
So this wasn't your choice.
No, it was before. It was right when we were moving in.
Before Before you guys bought the house, the lady before there had sealed.
The contractor
over.
did. He thought it was like a vent from an old vented
Dude.
stove or oven. I mean,
That's frightening.
I know. And they're like, you guys could have died.
So you had the guy come around, you said, that was putting dents in your siding and saying, hey, I can get you some money for this storm damage. But you've never hired anyone that where you know for sure, oh, that guy boned me.
No.
Good. Plenty of folks have. And, you feel foolish. You feel like a sucker. But it could happen to anybody. The only one I can think of, I've already told you about a couple of times where we had some younger dudes go into the basement to do some work. They didn't clean up a single thing. That's one of the things you want out of that type of a service. Clean up the mess when you're done, because a lot of that work can be very messy. So that was one problem.
Yeah, we have had that.
Yeah, after it was all said and done, I went downstairs and I said, wow, they did a great job, until I looked on the floor and it was just, they just left pieces of shrapnel.
That sucks.
But, okay, whatever. I had to get the vacuum out. The only real complaint from those two young fellers, who did end up doing a good job. They did not clean up, but they ended up doing a good job. I told you before that they brought in their boom box and they were cranking just some awful indie rock or something. I wasn't home at the time. But the wife had to go halfway down the stairs and go, hey, turn it down for Christ's sake. This isn't your dorm. This isn't a frat house. She's working upstairs. She works from home usually. And they're just pumping some horrible local rock. I didn't mean local like all the local. Like a garage band, like a high school garage band is what they sounded like.
Yeah, I'm lucky where I haven't run into that. Or maybe I have been scammed and I have no idea.
Oh, I suppose.
Maybe I paid 3 times as much as...
And the amount of time these
supposed
projects seem to take for you, Josh, it's almost like they're stalling a little bit.
Well, that's pandemic related, right?
Oh, okay.
Just things take forever to get in and stuff like that. Or that, somebody shipped something that gets broken along the way.
That's how it goes. But I'll tell you, again, if it wasn't for you folks, I'd be living in a cardboard box that's leaned up against my parents' home. If it wasn't for you folks who do the wonderful work that you do.
Me too. I love it. And I'm going to miss it when they're not around anymore, because it's been, almost 4 years of somebody in there doing something.
Well, you know what you could do? Okay, so they're not in your home anymore. You could do something that my neighbor does.
What's that?
Anytime a work truck pulls into someone else's driveway or a crew is in a yard, you can leave your home, walk up and say, so what are you guys doing?
Mind if I watch?
What do you got going on? Are you trimming some trees? What are you doing? Some electrical work? What are you doing? Maybe you could just be the neighborhood guy that pops in and asks, hey, what's the project? And then, of course, the workers are forced to tell you what they're doing. You could be that guy.
Oh, we got a couple of those in the neighborhood, certainly. A couple of nosy neighbors.
My dad and a couple of his buddies, before they all passed on, they had some tree trimmers in the neighborhood. And so they pulled their pickup. 3 guys sitting in a pickup, hip to hip, old school pickup with the bench seats. These are retired gentlemen. They got nothing better to do. So they pulled their pickup onto the scene of this massive tree cutting and tree trimming job. And they just sat in the cab of the truck and drank beer, smoked cigarettes, and watched the job happen.
That is fun.
I
I like watching. I like doing the same thing.
In the last couple of years, I've had 5 trees on my property go down. Horrible mess. One of them landed on top of my brand new shed and popped it like a zit on prom night. Total disaster. Hated it. Part of the reason why I hate trees so much was that 5 of them decided to tip over onto my friggin' property in the last couple of years. But watching those dudes operate with the crane and the whole works, I had a friggin' crane in my yard watching how they operate, I didn't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, normally when I get done with this nightmare, I go home, I eat a meal fit for a 7-year-old, and I go to sleep for a couple hours. I didn't want to sleep on those days because watching what they did was incredible.
A couple of summers ago, we had just a ton of rain, and all of a sudden my son comes in and said, Dad, one of the trees is messed up. I'm like, what do you mean? And so I said, though, I look out the window, and it was at like a 45-degree angle. And this was a 40-foot tree. So believe it or not, I have a tree guy. I called him up and just said, hey, when you get a chance, can you run out here? I think this, forget about it. It fell as I was watching, and luckily it missed absolutely. It was right next to the house, but it fell perfectly across the yard. So I got lucky, and I know you weren't so lucky.
Oh, it was terrible, man. It was terrible. So happy that, there's folks out there who could swing by with a crane and clean that mess up. The one time I was on the phone with a buddy, and I heard like this, and it was so deep, like a real bassy sound, that I couldn't tell where it came from. And I said to my buddy on the phone, I said, was that on your end? And he said, I didn't hear anything. And I said, you didn't hear that like deep thud? And he said, no. So I kind of was walking around the house with the phone up to my face. I look out the window, tree down in my front yard. Great. I got to call you back. Sucked.
Gosh, you hate trees
Oh,
so
I hate
much.
trees.
I like trees.
Oh, no.
I mean, raking kind of sucks, but luckily we don't have a lot of leaf-bearing trees.
I like raking.
Raking sucks.
Oh, I hate it. I hate
raking's
it.
the worst,
Trees
actually.
suck. Shade sucks. What's your guy again? Lindahl?
Yes.
Tell Chris Lindahl, when this is over, meaning our radio careers, I want him to find me a house. I want him to find me a house where there isn't a tree within, I'd like 5 miles of leeway between me and the nearest tree.
Well, make sure you take his advice if he suggests maybe this isn't the house for you. If your wife argues or says, well, you know what, I think this is the one, make sure you listen to what he says.
I will.
Because I didn't one time, and let me tell you, I got a couple stories.
I'll certainly have you in mind.
Now, this wasn't an unscrupulous tradesman by any means, but I did recently. I told you I had a swimming pool all of a sudden in our dining room, which, by the way, we've never used. And it was a plumber. There was some sort of bad weld, and I'm sure it could happen to anybody. So that's not unscrupulous, but that's like the only real horror story outside of the crew that tried to kill us by cutting off our exhaust pipes. That's about it. You haven't had anything else other than kind of messy, right? Nothing bad.
All the water in the basement.
Well, I mean, like for a
I'm
tradesperson kind of made a mistake.
No, not like you said earlier, not as far as I know. When the dude says, hey, I'm going to dump a couple 1,000 pounds worth of insulation into your attic here, okay? And I go, okay. And then I take a nap, right? I'm not watching it. He might have just went up there and smoked some pot. I don't know.
That's a good point. I wonder if the guys I hired to insulate, if they put anything up there.
Yeah, am I going to go up there and check? Hell no. But when the guy came down, I woke up from my nap, he came down from the attic. He was filthy. That was enough evidence for me to assume that he did the job. But maybe he just went up there and rubbed one out and smoked some grass. I don't know.
Jerking off in the attic.
Yeah.
I do know a guy who, when he was working for his dad owned a company. He was a contractor. He did masturbate in an empty house. My buddy did.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
When he was a teenager.
No.
The house was empty, Ashley.
No. Don't do that.
He worked for a builder that built new homes, so nobody was living there yet, but somebody moved into a house that had previously been masturbated in.
Pre-masturbated.
And they'll
home.
never know.
I got to tell you my plumber story again because it was cool. I have a plumber pal that I went to high school with. He's the guy I call on now, but I didn't want to bother him at first. I'm sure you've had that vibe before, Josh, where you know a guy, but you don't want to bug him too much because he's actually a buddy.
Yep.
And then,
Never, because my guy is my dad. So I'll bother the heck out of him.
Parents don't count.
Parents don't count.
It's our job to bother them.
Dads
Yeah,
want to do that
true.
for their kids.
And dads like to. So, now what usually happens is these pals of mine who are tradesmen, they'll say, look, it doesn't bother me at all. Call me anytime. Where for a while there, I didn't want to They're busy enough as it is. So I didn't want to bother my regular plumber buddy. I called some other company, and dude comes over, and I had some massive drain clog. I don't remember the specifics, but he gets out the camera, little camera on the end of a long line, and he's feeding it into my sewer line or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. He's feeding it, and he's got a little television set next to him, and he can watch this camera snake forever down these lines. And as Josh and I have stated a couple times, we're such big fans of this type of stuff. I said, do you mind if I sit here and watch you operate just for a few minutes? He said, yeah. And this dude was cool. He dressed cool. He talked cool. Everything about him was cool. And some plumbers out there are saying, well, yeah, obviously. But this dude was extra cool. And so he's snaking the thing down the thing, and we're watching the television set and the cameras and being completely uninformed on what things should or should not look like. I notice there's a lot of white mass kind of clogging the pipes. It's colored white. There's other colors in there, but the white stuff seemed to be the biggest problem. And so I said to dude, I said, what's all that white stuff in there? And he said, cool as can be, can you turn the music down because this is really cool? He said, oh, yeah, that's all the poop. I said, that's the poop? And he said, yeah.
I'm going to miss the ball busting these guys give each other. That's always fun. Especially a couple of the younger guys, they really get it.
They hate each other.
Yeah, I wish I could say some of the stuff on the radio. I've told you off air before some of the insults.
The nicknames.
The nicknames, which I can't say, but things they toss around, I'm going to miss that big time.
Just foul.
And also, like, one of the kids, they ask all these questions about how disappointed his dad must be about all these things they pick apart. I'm going to miss that.
How disappointed is your dad in your haircut?
The haircut was a big one. And, oh, man, I wish I could say what he said. But, yeah, the haircut, they make fun of him for.
Derogatory nicknames, ball busting. Hey, underpants. You ever hear that one?
No.
Hey, tenderfoot. What movie? Vacation. We got to take a break. You're a wonderful crowd. It's Thursday. We got the stupid news and all kinds of other nonsense on the way here. Thank you for listening to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Michael Rosenbaum and his Small Bill co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Tom Welling's here.
We're going to do a podcast
Throughout the year, we've got a lot of season ahead of us.
It's big talk.
This is good fan stuff.
Yeah, there was some good
stuff. If you're watching the show, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
on Smallville.
Yeah.
They made it like this is the first time they've seen the guy ball.
That's hard.
I thought it was pretty
fun.
dark.
It's Talkville,
We're pumped.
the Smallville rewatch podcast.
You got to be a part of it.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah. A few minutes ago, we were talking about you worker folks. You wonderful people who come on over to the house and you straighten out our floors and the roof or the walls, the water, the electricity. God bless each and every one of you, except for the shady ones. A couple of texts came in on the subject. Listen to this here, Cubby. Listener texted in to say 10, 12 years ago, he and his dad did an insulation job in someone's attic, and a little kid who lives in the house woke up, didn't know what the hell was going on, shut the attic door on him, and we couldn't open it up.
Oh, I bet that was miserable.
I texted the guy back, and I said, how the hell did you get out of there? He didn't get back to me yet.
I hope it wasn't the middle of summer or something absolutely brutal.
Ooh.
I don't know if this one really counts as unscrupulous. From Steelers fan Jesus, his brother-in-law had some people come to his apartment complex, do a little remodeling.
Sure.
And he noticed his gun was missing. He reported it, and they found it in California. And no big deal, it was involved in a murder.
Oh, my gosh. Whoa.
They asked if he wanted it back after the court process, and he said no.
I
He
think
didn't want
counts.
that juju.
Son of a bee.
Yeah, that's a lot worse than some of the other examples we were talking about.
Somebody ended up dead.
Yeah. His gun was stolen.
Yeah, I can't top that, but I'll give you one more anyways. I'll go ahead anyway. Here's a listener. He said he had a new floor installed along with a new toilet in the bathroom. When the job was done and the workers were gone, I got home from work to find the old toilet in the bathtub. I figured they would have at least brought it outside. Here you go. You can have the old toilet. We set it here in the bathtub for you. Bye.
Those are heavy, too. I'd be so mad.
But I've personally never had a bad experience.
All right, we got an update on the gentleman who was locked with his father in the attic. It was summertime.
Did they have to survive for months, maybe drinking their own urine, or did one of them die and they fed off the flesh?
Doesn't say. I wonder if they made a pact, like,
Yeah.
hey, Dad, you can eat me if you have to.
Right. How did they get the hell out of there?
Didn't say yet.
Oh, so,
Really leaving us hanging.
well, what were you saying, though? He did get back to
He
you?
said it was in the summer.
It was in the summer. Okay. Why won't you tell us how you get out of there? He doesn't want to tell us how they got out of there.
Maybe they're still there. They're
They could
texting
still
from
be.
the attic.
All right, well, holler at me if he tells you, Josh. How in the balls did he and his old man get out of that locked attic? Impressive is the word for me. Impressive is the word that comes to mind when I think about what these 5 guys accomplished down in Memphis, Tennessee, a couple nights ago. Let's see how you feel about it. 5 adult men were arrested Monday night in Memphis on account of they blocked downtown traffic with their twerking.
So stupid.
So dumb.
And now I certainly understand that folks who were trying to drive around Memphis that night likely weren't excited to see a 5-man twerk off as they're trying to drive their way through the city.
That could be frustrating.
But I'm still impressed because you know what, Josh? There's no way that me and 4 of my friends could stop traffic with our dance moves. No way.
I just get run over.
These guys had some haircuts I'm envious of. Ashley, did I send this to you?
No.
Oh, I should have.
I dig their look, too.
We should post these haircuts.
I'm going to get back to their look here in a minute because I dug it, too, Josh.
They must be in some sort of group.
I think they are, too.
They have to be.
This all started when cops out patrolling downtown Memphis, Tennessee Monday night, they saw a car that wasn't moving on a green light. And then the cops witnessed why that car wasn't moving. And the reason was incredible. There were 4 grown men twerking around that car and 1 man twerking on the hood of the car. These
Probably
5
do some damage.
I suppose on the hood might be a little too much. These 5 young fellers are all between the ages of 18 and 22, and they all have cool first names. Mikkel, Rashawn, Jordan, Desmond, and my favorite, Mondraco. And they were all charged with obstructing a highway or passageway. Josh referenced their appearance a minute ago. If you look at their mugshots, they do have a boy band vibe to them. Maybe this was the big break they've been waiting on.
Yeah, a couple of them you can tell are Prince fans. They just kind of have that vibe.
Yeah. One of them, the dude, it's interesting what this website did with their mugshots. They kind of blended them all together, kind of like an album cover. These 5 guys blended all their mugshots together like you might see from a band's album cover. And the guy in the middle, did you say Prince?
Yeah.
The guy in the middle look at the guy in the middle, and then look at the cover of Prince's album from 1981 called Controversy, and tell me if they don't have the exact same look on their face. I think that's what the guy was going for. I think he said, I finally am getting a mugshot taken of myself. I want to look into the camera the exact way Prince did on his album cover Controversy. Am I making that up, Ashley?
You are so right.
Dana, thanks for the
crazy.
new bell.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Dana got me a new bell.
Yeah, no, that thing's awesome.
That's sweet.
Sound all right?
Yeah, it's cooking.
Okay, good.
A couple people are texting in and saying, twerking in Memphis.
I'd listen to that remix.
Little Mark Cohn.
He's a call.
I like the guy with the blonde wig. He's my favorite.
Oh, those are wigs? I'm the worst at this. I assumed that he just dyed his hair.
Oh, I guess it could be, but
You're
I'm not sure.
probably right. I've said before, I am the absolute worst at picking out wigs, unless it's completely obvious.
It's a learned skill. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'd buy a ticket to see these fellas live.
I would too.
Especially that dude in the middle with the Prince look to him.
I wish they had video of this twerking. I want to see if they could pull it off.
Yeah, me too. Do, 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 do. Some of these are too young. Do, do, do. Wee, controversy. Boo, do, 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 do.
We've talked a lot of Prince off air today.
Yeah, it's weird. He's come up a couple times.
Yes.
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in... Yeah, we were talking Prince before the show started because I listened to a little bit of Prince yesterday.
I know a guy who cried at his show, believe it or not.
And Josh got to talking about when he saw him in concert. Yeah, yesterday I was just, I hit the... what do you call the gimmick on my phone where
your streaming service?
And I was just cranking up some 80s stuff like I do 99% of the time, and I heard a live Prince track. It wasn't Controversy. Prince started off a show in Syracuse, New York, and you know how he liked to be kind of spooky? Mm-hmm. So the show begins, and you just hear a voice, and he says... Hello, Syracuse and the world. World. My name is Prince. Maybe this is the way he started all of his shows. I don't know. I never saw him in concert.
What song was it? I wonder if or concert? I wonder if I can
Let's
find
Go
it.
Crazy was the first track from Syracuse, New York, I believe 1985. My name is Prince, he says, and I've come to play with you. He always kind of had that I'm sexy, I'm cute, but also I'm kind of spooky thing, A
little mysterious.
Mysterious is the better word, yes. He's come to play with me. What are you talking about?
He knows what he did.
He knows what he said. And then Josh mentioned he went to see him in concert once and cried his eyes out.
Yeah, I didn't want to go. The girl I was dating at the time wanted to go see Prince, and I liked some of his songs, and I thought, well, I can't sit through a concert. I don't want to go. But I ended up going because I'm a sucker, and I realized a few songs in that this is the greatest performer I am ever going to see. And I didn't even want to be there. I mean, I was mesmerized. He can play any instrument, and not only can he play it, he can dominate it. And he was just such a good performer, and it's not even the style of music I'm usually into. Obviously, some of his songs I really like. And then at one point, he's like, is this my hometown? Ow! Or whatever noise he makes. Ow! And I started crying almost. I almost started tearing up.
Because
this is your hometown?
Yeah, and we love you.
We do. We welcome you here.
You're from here. I'm from here.
Exactly.
It's
this is your home as well.
Almost like we're related. So you don't remember him saying anything before the show started about how he wanted to play with you?
No, because like I said, I didn't want to be there. And then, boy, was I blown over. I mean, that was incredible. And then I thought, he invited everybody to go back to Paisley Park.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a treat.
Yeah.
We're the only people that's ever been invited back to his place after a show, and somebody said, nah, he does that every single time.
He does that for all the boys.
Still pretty cool.
Never saw it, Prince live in concert.
I bet you would have loved it.
All right, here's more from the young people. We were talking about that group of 20-year-olds twerking on the streets of Memphis, Tennessee, the young people. I'm not sure I'm buying this, but I'm old, and I really no longer have any idea what's happening around me. A 19-year-old gal from Connecticut. She goes by the name of Alicia. She's gone ahead and sued her former high school. She says she graduated with honors, but she can barely read or write. That's an interesting claim.
It sounds like a you problem.
Well, I thought of you because you've said before they never should have let you graduate.
What do you mean?
Well, specifically, I shouldn't have passed ninth grade.
Oh.
I'll tell you more in a minute. I'll get to this gal, and then we can talk about what a terrible student I was. She graduated with honors. She says she can barely read or write. She says she struggled with learning difficulties since moving over here to the States with her family when she was just a 5-year-old kid. She claims her school never gave two pumps about her education and let her graduate without actually teaching her how to read. Now, I understand the idea of a kid being moved along just because the school wants to get rid of them. That happened to me. I shouldn't have passed the ninth grade. But why would her school graduate her with honors? That's the part that doesn't make any sense. For the school, that's just asking for trouble. But it says here, she somehow earned high school honors and a college scholarship. She used apps to write her essays. She's been doing that as well in college, but she's been struggling. She's now stopped attending classes for mental health reasons. Now she's taking legal action to hold her high school accountable for never teaching her Dick Tracy. She says
that's crazy.
She wants to help prevent future students from being honored without actually learning a damn thing.
It is 100% her own fault.
Yeah, I think I would have spoke up and said something.
Yeah,
hey,
you
by
did
the
it
way,
to
gang,
yourself.
I don't know how to read.
Well, also, I'm surprised there were no teachers who spoke up when she ended up on the honor roll and whatnot. Not one teacher said, hey, what's the deal with this Alicia ending up on the honor roll? She can't even write. They were all working together just to push her along. I mean, maybe 35, 40 years ago. These days, I don't know.
Well, people are texting in saying it's funding, right? The better your statistics are, the more funding you get for your school. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe.
So as usual,
guess-
Cubby, it all comes down to money. That's what they're saying?
Yes, that's what texts are saying.
I guess we had a lot of people that were on the A, B honor roll. So I don't think all the teachers were aware of everybody that was on the honor roll.
What?
It was so common.
Well, but they'd certainly be aware of who shouldn't be there. That's my point. When I think back to I went to a large school for its time, and I was a terrible student. I shouldn't have passed the ninth grade. But I think they just wanted me gone. I was just as bad in high school. But every teacher in that school knew that I was a terrible student. You know what I'm saying? It was no secret. If I would have ended up on the honor roll, there certainly would have been at least one teacher who would have stepped up and said, what the hell is Bourne doing on the honor roll? He hasn't come to class in 2 months. You know what I mean? So certainly not every teacher knows who's on the honor roll, but I bet they all know who shouldn't be. That's just my experience.
Gosh, using people using AI to write their essays and stuff, people are just going to get dumber and dumber.
Yeah, but I
we
sure
could be in
wish.
some trouble in the future.
That's okay, I'll be dead. I sure wish that would have been available when I was in school. Oh, my damn, that would have been incredible.
Yeah, that would have been slick.
We've had some teachers text in, though, and say, hey, we have programs that can tell if this was generated by AI. So I wonder how accurate some of that stuff is.
But yeah, and then at the end of high school, I just squeaked by, got really lucky, got some breaks that I didn't deserve. But then our last day of school, me and a kid named Donnie got pulled into the principal's office. Last day of school, everyone's just kind of wandering the halls and having fun, right? But me and Donnie get pulled into the principal's office, and the principal says, each of you has 10 or so outstanding detentions that you never served. And we said, yeah. So what? It's our last day. And he said, I will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m., and so will the two of you. And if you don't show up, you will not graduate. He said, I'm dead serious. Look me in the eye. You will not graduate, unless you're here tomorrow. While everyone else is partying their nuts off, you guys will be here at 9 a.m., or I will not give you your, what do they call the thing inside the book there?
Diploma?
Diploma. And we said, yeah, all right, cool, see you there. We walked out the room. I turned to Donnie, and I said, I'm not going to that. And he said, me neither. And we didn't. But they still handed us that, what's the word again?
Diploma.
Oh, geez, Jesus said he made the dean's list and then got put on academic probation a few months later.
Oh, man.
Oh, that sucks.
That happened fast.
That's impressive.
If you have any more info, I'd love to know how that happened.
Josh, my memory isn't what it used to be. Which reptile is it again that you like so damn much?
Which reptile?
Yeah.
The Lickalotopus?
So there's that little, it's a smaller reptile. I swear to God, you should be able to remember this.
Oh, well, yeah, I amongst a few other people, I mean, I like turtles quite a bit.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I really do like turtles.
I like turtles.
You did not expect to be on live television that day at the water park, did
No,
you?
I was dressed like a zombie.
Like a
It was kind of
zombie.
embarrassing.
You're apparently not the only turtle humper out there. A dude at the airport in a place called Newark, New Jersey, he missed his flight when security found out that he had a live turtle in his pants.
There's footage of this turtle up on 93x.com.
A live turtle in his pants.
Yes.
That's a lot to pack in your pants.
That will become a shaver intro at some point.
It's a cute little turtle.
The dude set off alarms when he walked through the body scanner machine, so the security folks dumped a pat down on him. They felt something hard near his groin area. And the guy winked at security and mouthed the words, "I want you."
No.
He did. The security people asked him what he was hiding, and that's when dude reached into his pants and hauled out a turtle wrapped in a towel. It was just a little feller, a 5-incher. It was something called a red-eared slider turtle, which it says here are popular among turtle owners. Airport security wasn't playing games with this effing guy. They confiscated his pet turtle. They wailed on the guy for a while before they threw him out into the streets. Dude might be facing some style of charges
I like turtles.
for this.
Oh, these turtles are so cute. Little babies.
Is it just a little feller?
Yeah, and somebody's got a little baby and it's like smaller than his palm. Cute.
The airport security boss over there said, "We've seen travelers try to conceal knives and other weapons in their shows, in their luggage, anuses," he said. "However, I believe this is the first time we've come across someone who's concealing a live animal down the front of their pants." As far as I can tell, everybody, the turtle was not harmed, which is good news, but where the turtle ended up, I have no idea.
Yeah, what do they do with them like during the day until somebody can come and get them?
I'd feel guilty, wouldn't you? Just a little bit like, I'm sorry you got to be down there, pal. There's got to be a better way to do something
Oh,
like that.
definitely.
Yeah.
That's not where they want to be.
You don't know that.
Maybe turtles like ball sweat.
I guess they do like, I don't know, moist areas.
They do like moist areas, Josh.
Oh, my God.
I like turtles.
Oh. All
By
right.
the way, people are disagreeing. 5 inches in your pants is gigantic, according to text.
I was kind of waiting for you to say something.
I thought about it.
All right, some of you folks, you love to suck on those vape rods. Smashly, are you just going to say F it and smoke throughout your pregnancy?
No, I've
No?
been using nicotine-free ones.
Nicotine-free vape rods.
Yeah, but still very sparingly.
Here's a 35-year-old gal that smokes vape rods. And I'll be damned, but her vape stick upped and caught her on fire. This happened a 3 years ago. Why it's being written about now, I don't know, and I don't care. Her vape stick caught her on fire. In November of 20 and 22, Carrie is her name. She didn't notice that her vape pipe had caught fire until she saw smoke pouring out of her pants pocket and noticed that her upper thigh hurt like a bitch. And this turned out to be a terrible, terrible thing, by God.
They can be sketchy.
Heard about that. Those batteries, sometimes they go.
New bell. When this nightmare first began, she was at home and she saw a small flame begin to flicker in her pocket. There were sparks coming out of there like fireworks, she said. She and her husband hauled her pants off of her. She allowed her husband to get a quick one in, and then she took a look at the damage. And she saw that her leg was so badly burned that the skin was, quote, rolling into one oozing mass. The smell of burning flesh took over the house. New guy in the corner. They called for an ambulance. Firefighters showed up too. Cubby, they brought her into the backyard without her pants and turned a hose loose on her. The firefighters said...
I'm sure that helped.
Yes, I bet it felt very good. So here you go, Josh. The firefighters said that the lithium battery from her vape bone came in contact with her car keys, and that caused everything to ignite. The pain was so brutal, she was shot up with morphine in the hospital. There she sat in the burn unit for a smooth week. She had to undergo a skin graft to help. The recovery process sucked eggs. She said the agony was unbearable. She was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. She couldn't sleep. She was in a constant state of fear. She was terrified that something else would explode in the middle of the night. The smell of toast would make her panic.
Oh, jeez, I bet. Oh, poor girl. That's terrifying.
Yeah, the smell of burnt skin is one smell you don't forget.
Oh, thankfully, I've never smelled it. I'd imagine it's got to be bad.
Not good.
I've smelled burned pee when somebody thought it'd be funny to pee in a campfire. That's bad.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you keep your vape, Ashley? Do you keep it in a pocket? If so, I recommend not doing that after this story.
Yeah, in the pocket.
You do.
This gal missed a lot of work. She has now quit vaping. She's moved on to Kodiak. And she's gone as far as to take pictures of her scars and skin grafts and send them to the local vape shop to warn other customers about the risks they could be taking. She says, for now, I'm glad to have left such a dangerous habit behind.
Yeah, that's probably the one, I guess. It's really hard quitting nicotine. It was like the worst thing I ever had to do, to be honest. It made me such a terrible person for a couple of weeks. But I guess the bright side is I don't ever see myself going back, because if you stop for, 9 months, what's the point of starting up again?
Yeah, I hope you don't. I mean, I wish I had the willpower. Here's a text from Medical Device Jesus, who said the good news about this story, the bright side, is that she took hold of the flame. Queensryche, 1984, I believe.
Oh, geez, Jesus said, Nick, didn't you once take your pants off and let the hose go loose on you?
Too many times, son. Too many times. Cake sitting Jesus texted in. What kind of pants was she wearing to have enough room for a vape and keys? I don't know.
That's a good point. Maybe she was in some sweats.
She took a guess here. Cake sitting Jesus texted. Were they elephant pants? Is that such a thing?
What?
Elephant?
I have no idea.
What are elephant pants?
I could fit that in my pants, but women's pants are typically tighter, I suppose.
Josh, did you ever own any of them Bobby Brown pants?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I owned the Korn-inspired fat pants for a couple of days. Korn, I mean the band. Fat pants for a couple of days.
Fat pants.
But that's about it.
Yeah, women's pockets suck.
Oh. All right.
What are you supposed to do with that?
To do with what?
The pockets on women's pants.
Are they small?
Put like a couple pieces of gum in there or what? So stupid. Just give us pockets.
I'm not sure what to make of this. And this, we'll wrap it up here, by damn. I've never heard of anything like this in my long, miserable, pointless life. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is a smart-ass joke to gain some attention from the evil, soulless, and absolutely misinformed social media types. It says here, the owner of a London comedy club made an announcement. He's banning folks with Botox injections from coming into his club because comics have been complaining about unresponsive, stiff, lifeless faces in the crowd staring back at them while they're trying to do their act.
Maybe just be funnier.
It's a good point.
Mark Rothman is the name of the guy who owns the joint. They call it Top Secret Comedy Club. He said this here: I've had numerous complaints from performers who find it increasingly challenging to gauge audience engagement off their reactions. Comedy thrives on connection, and facial expressions play a huge part. We want people to laugh, cry, frown, sneer, but frozen faces from Botox impact the entire atmosphere. He's got to be playing with us here, right?
It has to be. I mean, I know a couple of people that have gotten Botox, and I really can't tell the difference, but they could make facial expressions. Maybe their eyebrows aren't doing as much, but everything else is working.
I've seen a lot of videos on social media of women after they get the Botox done, and it doesn't move much. There's not much movement.
In their whole face?
Yeah, it depends where they got it.
I thought you just got it on the forehead or whatever.
No, you can get it everywhere.
Oh, man, Josh.
Yes.
What kind of Botox would it be in the wintertime?
Snowtox.
What if you were
Oh,
one
my
of the
gosh.
members of the Three Stooges? Stooges is how you say it.
Motox?
All right, you covered Snowtox and Motox. Maybe we'll leave it right there.
What if it was the old mascot for Camel cigarettes?
That would be Camel Jotox. What if it's the kind of Botox just between best friends?
Brotox?
Brotox.
What if it was like a popular hairstyle in the 1970s?
Oh, a Frotox.
Frotox.
Yeah. Audience members will be submitted to an expression check at the front door to ensure their faces are able to move before being admitted into the club. This has got to be
It's
a joke. Yeah.
It has to be, right?
Sorry, took so long on that one. Sorry, Wayne Gretzky. You will not be admitted. All right, people want us to keep the game going.
Big Rig and Jesus says, what if it's not fast tox?
That'd be slow tox.
Slow tox.
What if it was the type of Botox, Josh, where it just always remained the same? It always stayed at the same level.
Plateau tox.
Oh, God, come on.
What if
well,
it was...
No, that's actually not what I was going for, but that's brilliant. It was, this is the kind of Botox where it's just kind of always the same level.
So tox.
It's two words. I was going for status quo tox.
Oh, that's good. What about if it's the type of Botox that is Santa's famous greeting?
Ho, ho, ho tox. Yeah. We're in a boat with oars. That'd be
Rotox.
Rotox.
What if it was... You can't do this one. All right, Atheist Jesus, we'll do it. What if it was Luke Duke's brother?
You can't do that. Because
I love that you
answer.
did it, but you can't do that.
It can't also be Botox. That's not... No. Because the answer is the same as the...
What if it shines in the dark?
Glowtox.
Yep. What if it's Botox for a female deer?
Dotox.
What if it's fake Botox?
Oh, that would be faux
Botox.
Tox. Exactly. We got to take a break. We'll be back in a couple minutes on the... I think we have some kind of an announcement coming up.
Oh, yeah, we do. Just in a few minutes here.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Let's say you put Scar on the team. You know Scar from the Mufasa movies and Lion King, right?
Yeah.
Here it is. Mufasa is trying to be Scar's brother, right? Do you know what Scar's name was before Scar?
I don't.
It was Taka. Do you know what Taka meant?
No.
Garbage. Wasted.
All right, that's a feller by the name of Ryan Clark. He works for ESPN Television, and he was comparing Karen Rodgers potentially signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers to the movie Lion King. I'm sorry, I don't get the references. Want to know why, Josh?
Why?
Never saw it.
Such a good movie.
You guys like that one?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I really like the new one, too.
All right, Botox, Josh.
Okay.
What if what if it was a procedure that you got while recording a rap single for Suge Knight's old record company?
Oh, God darn it.
Then it would be called what?
Death Row Talks?
Death Row Talks. There it is.
What if Homer Simpson had a procedure?
Don't talks. What if it was a popular 1984 song from Wham?
Wake me up before you go talks.
That's right. What if it was a famous, this is from Dental Babe Cheeses. What if it was a famous painter from the 1800s that painted
Vincent
Starry
Van Gogh
Night?
talks.
A gathering of birds called The Murder?
Crow talks.
The shape that's made when a woman's pants are too tight in the front?
Camel toe talks. I don't think you can get me on this one. I don't think you can.
Oh, my gosh.
93X presents Sleep Tokens Return to the Twin Cities coming up Wednesday, October 1st.
That is frightening.
At Target Center. What is frightening?
Have you ever looked at those guys?
No.
They are scary in appearance.
Let me check it out.
Very intimidating.
It's like scary, like as scary as guar.
I'd want the worst tickets in the place so they don't look at me.
That's really scary.
Are they scarier than guar?
That's tough to do.
Scarier than when Slipknot all had the faces?
More scary than that.
Is one of them a clown?
93X presents, well, that was Slipknot had a clown. We interviewed him, and it was terrible. 93X presents Sleep Tokens Return to the Twin Cities Wednesday, October 1st at Target Center. Tickets are going on sale next Friday. For tickets and show info, go to our website. And we have another announcement related to this Sleep Token show coming up at 8 this morning, coming up in just about an hour.
I'm sure these guys are all fantastic people, but their appearance reminds me of a video you'd see on the dark web where they're telling you
let me see.
The world's about to end.
I didn't know they were scary.
Here, let me find a group photo here.
I believe they're British, this British heavy metal band.
Oh.
And by the way, Vertically Challenged Jesus is echoing what a lot of people are saying via text. F yes, Sleep Token.
Oh, dude, yeah, they are kind of scary.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's unnerving, but yeah, I kind of like it.
Cole. More info at 8 o'clock, an hour from now. Timberwolves beat Denver last night. Timberwolves. That was impressive. Golden Gopher dudes got bumped out of the Big Ten tournament yesterday by Northwestern, and then they fired the coach. They fired Ben Johnson.
It's too bad.
Let's see how the Pigs do against the New York Rangers tonight. We got to take a break. Josh's News is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Hi, I'm Joe Salciha, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show. We are diving into what should be in your little emergency go bag. What goes into your financial go bag?
Passport, driver's license, social security card.
Cash, credit cards, my wallet.
The most important thing, your master password.
OG just gave us the guns. That's all he needs.
Meaning the bicep.
Come and get them.
You never knew personal finance could be this fun. What's a big can of Colt 45 cost?
Stackers Anonymous. Is that about $3.50?
That's what I
Dr. Pepper.
Like go bag. Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
She didn't get killed for nothing, so I really thank the Lord for that.
A heated argument between two people in Pennsylvania granted two women extra holes Monday night when a 53-year-old woman pulled a gun and ended up shooting not just her opponent, but herself as well. Which reminds me, what kind of Botox would it be if it was for an enemy, rival, or opponent?
That would be a Photox.
A Photox is correct.
That's right.
The confrontation erupted around 9:30 p.m. when the older woman retrieved a firearm from a vehicle. She fired at a 33-year-old, striking her in the shoulder. But thanks to Karma's sense of humor, she also managed to shoot herself in the hand. As paramedics arrived to treat the injured, the younger woman spat in the medic's face.
Oh.
An ill-advised move that earned her additional charges.
As soon as the victim assaulted the paramedic, that opened up a whole new case, and she's being charged with that.
That's when they really start tuning you up.
Yeah, they weren't too excited about it.
Yeah.
And she was the victim in this shooting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Authorities confirmed the two women did know each other, though they did not provide any further information. Also in Pennsylvania, police say they've identified the person caught on Ring camera calling themselves the Box Demon. I'll show you a Box Demon. Cops were...
It does have kind of a creepy ring to it. So someone walked up to someone's doorbell camera and said, "Hello, I am the box demon."
That's right.
Wow.
It is creepy. It's on 93x.com.
Yeah.
Cops were searching for the suspicious person who called themselves the box demon while wearing a homemade paper plate mask and carrying an empty box about 4 a.m. Tuesday.
4 a.m.
Home security footage captured the mass mischief maker ringing the doorbell and delivering an ominous message, that is, into the camera.
I am the box demon. I am the box. Believe this box is a gift for you.
Even had some music in the
Well, that
background.
sounds like a young lady.
It does.
I do not like that.
You're not going to mess with the box demon, Ashley?
No, I thought,
I'll show you a box.
I didn't get to hear the audio. I just watched the video without it, and I thought, not that scary because it's like colorful.
Looks like something a kid made.
Yeah, exactly.
And she sounds kind of hot.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't know. She could be.
What do you mean? We just heard her voice.
I disagree.
Well, I say she could be hot.
She could be hot. I'm sorry.
Her face is covered.
Yeah.
The homeowner told police they didn't recognize the person or know what the mask or box demon was supposed to mean. After leaving the empty box on the porch, the person walked away. Authorities have since identified and spoken to that individual, assuring the public that despite the box demon's bizarre antics, there's no threat to public safety.
I would recommend, Josh, if she visits your house and she says, "Hello, I am the box demon," you should hit whatever button you push so she can hear you out there, and you should say, "You sound kind of hot."
Why don't you take off that paper plate? What if, speaking of spooky, what if it was a kind of Botox named after the writer who authored the tale of a grief-stricken man visited by a talking raven that only knows one word?
Edgar Allan Poe talks.
Also correct. In Pennsylvania, yet again, police are searching for a 20-year-old man accused of breaking into an apartment and hitting the resident in the face with a frying pan. Once the victim opened the door, 3 males forced their way inside. They punched him in the face for a bit, and then one of them grabbed a frying pan and delivered a blow so hard it fractured the victim's cheekbone and left the pan dented. 2 of the attackers wore masks, but the third, unmasked and now identified as the 20-year-old previous roommate of the victim, wasn't so lucky. Investigators say the suspect even showed up earlier that same day asking about a package. I'll show you a package. Now police are looking to bring the former roommate in, preferably before he gets his hands on any more cookware.
Wow, that did some damage.
Yeah, I mean, it dented up this pan. Luckily,
Dude,
the guy
man.
didn't end up with a concussion or nothing.
If it was one of those cast iron ones, you could kill the guy.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
I wonder if it makes that perfect ping sound like it does when I watch my Three Stooges channel on television.
I love that sound. I don't know why. When they put that in the movie.
It's a keeper, Josh.
Yeah,
it's a keeper.
Or the cartoons.
Yeah.
Now a story about using cookware for its intended purpose. The late, great Vinnie Paul, Pantera's powerhouse drummer, just added cookbook author to his rock and roll legacy. His posthumous recipe collection, Drumming Up an Appetite, was just published, loaded with his favorite comfort food classics and plenty of behind-the-scenes snapshots of him whipping up meals alongside celebrity friends. Vinny had been cooking up the concept for over a decade, right down to the cover image, him behind a drum kit wielding turkey legs like drumsticks. Of course, Vinny's legacy goes far beyond the kitchen. As Pantera's co-founder, he also helped shape heavy metal history with not just that band, but when he teamed up with his brother Dimebag Darrell to form Damage Plan in 2003. Later, he became the drummer for Hell Yeah until his passing in 2018.
Well, that sounds like a hell of a deal, although I got to say it's going to be tough for any cookbook to replace my WWF cookbook from 25 years ago.
I was wondering if you guys had any goofy cookbook. I've never owned a cookbook.
That's the one I have,
really?
Josh. I have the WWF cookbook with all kinds of recipes from people like Edge and Christian and Jim Ross.
Is it like muscle building stuff?
No.
Stuff?
It's all based on their character, you know.
Oh,
so
that's
even better.
I mean, Mark Henry, he looked like he enjoyed eating, right?
Oh, sure.
So, I made a couple of Mark Henry sandwiches and whatnot years ago. It's very fascinating.
I don't have any fun ones, but I've always wanted the Bob's Burgers cookbook because if you've never seen the show.
Never saw it.
Seen the commercials.
He has a gimmick where he makes like really fun, goofy named burgers.
I think that Hillbilly Jim had a certain way to make grits and all that kind of stuff, you know.
That's cool.
Of course, at the time, Triple H was like this regal character, so his recipe was tea and crumpets and all that all that cliche stuff.
We can leave this one out of the cookbook. Human head. A drugged-up Florida man tore a chunk of flesh from a cop's skull at a music festival, then whined about having hair in his teeth. 37-year-old James Anderson was sentenced Monday for the sickening assault, which left a Holmes County Sheriff's deputy with a gaping wound and exposed skull. It was nasty looking. A stomach-turning photo of the injury shows a bloody crater in the back of the officer's head.
Bit him in the back of the head, so the cop never even had an opportunity to defend himself.
Nothing, yeah. And it took a chunk out. This is the most severe bite wound I've ever seen in my career, Chief Prosecutor Jacob Cook said. And this defendant is going to spend the next several years in prison paying for his violent actions, he said. Anderson, a volunteer at the 4-day Music and Arts Festival, first tried to wrestle the deputy's gun from its holster. When he failed, he latched onto the officer's head and tore a huge chunk out of his scalp before bizarrely griping about the hair stuck in his teeth.
What kind of deadly street dope was this idiot on?
He was a walking pharmacy. He was hopped up on PCP, LSD, ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy.
Dang, dude, save some for the rest of us.
What are you doing to yourself?
Despite the horrifying injury, the deputy has since recovered, but he is bearing some significant scars.
I bit into the back of somebody's skull once.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, it was an accident. It was actually a kid I had a huge crush on when I was in first grade or so, and we were running around playing tag, and I thought, yay, maybe he likes me back. We're playing tag. And I fell, and my 2 front teeth went into his head. He had to get stitches, and I saw him maybe like 5-6 years ago, and he still has the scar.
No.
That's beautiful.
Oh, no.
You bit into a player's skullington.
Yeah, our relationship didn't go anywhere from there. He was mad at me. Yeah, a lot of tears.
Biters are frightening. I mean, there's a place for it, don't get me wrong, and I think you know what I'm hitting at. But those who bite as a defense or as an offense, frightening to me.
I used to be a biter, and then I really hurt somebody.
When
and
you
I
would
felt bad.
when you would get in a scrap, you would bite.
Yeah.
I've never been on either end of that.
My poor brothers.
A 31-year-old passenger on an American Airlines flight from Miami to Miami, went Old Testament on passengers and crew, drop-kicking a flight attendant across the aisle and swallowing rosary beads. The turbulence began shortly after takeoff from Savannah, Georgia, Monday night. The man started yelling and shaking, leading the crew to suspect a medical emergency, possibly a seizure. But when he gulped down the rosary beads like holy Tic Tacs, claiming they'd protect him from Satan's disciples, it was clear this dude had some troubles. Flight attendants attempted to intervene, but one unfortunate crew member caught a flying foot getting punted into a window. The FBI later described his actions as purposeful, though difficult to describe.
Yeah.
Pilots decided to turn the plane around before the demonic disturbance got worse, but as the crew tried to deplane the other passengers, the man charged the front, throwing wild punches before a group of fellow travelers, including his own sister, subdued him before he could cause any more damage.
Another guy full of dope?
No, just religious fervor. His sister later told authorities they were heading to Haiti to escape spiritual attacks. She claimed that he warned her to close her eyes and pray because dark forces were determined to stop them, and they were on the plane with them. She said he swallowed the rosary beads as a, quote, weapon of strength in spiritual warfare. She also told authorities her brother had no medical or mental disorders to speak of. Thanks be to God, no serious injuries were reported.
Well, I think they want to double check on that mental disorder.
He just tried to ward off evil spirits by swallowing rosary beads.
Boy, doesn't he sound like a lot of laughs?
I tried to ward off constipation by swallowing anal beads.
Oh.
Didn't work. Made it worse.
I bet it did.
What are you talking about?
Well, bound you up.
Made it a lot worse, actually. A pair of...
Did you hear that, what he just said?
It doesn't work.
I mean, the guy's desperate. He's going to try anything at this point.
A pair of infamous shoplifters who used a bowel movement as a distraction to make off with a basket. That's a different story. A basket full of goods are no longer on the loose. Cops have nabbed the people that they've called the Pooping Bandits, a follow-up to a story we've discussed before.
Is that all they got, Josh?
I know. That's disappointing.
Can you make a phone call to these people? Because you could come. It's day in, day out. It's always just blank bandits.
Yeah.
There's got to be some other word for that.
The couple's reign of filth came to an end recently when police arrested the pair, 57-year-old Tina Joyce and 36-year-old Nike V. Curry, after identifying them from surveillance footage and community tips. The stinky scheme happened in December when, according to cops, Joyce took one for the team by relieving herself in the store, while Curry loaded up a cart with beer and cleaning supplies. As an unlucky employee scrambled to deal with the biological event, Curry made a cleaning supply getaway with nearly $500 worth of loot.
$500?
The duo then hopped into a white van and disappeared, but their freedom didn't last long. Turns out Curry was already in lockup for an unrelated battery charge when police showed him footage from the less-than-sanitary shopping spree. Faced with the evidence, he reportedly confessed. As for Joyce, the adult woman that pooped in the aisle to get away with shoplifting...
That's terrible.
Cops claim she already has 14 prior theft convictions.
In the aisle.
Just right there.
She agreed to that role.
Yeah.
Do you think they played rock, paper, scissors?
Or maybe she was just uniquely qualified.
She had one in the chamber ready to go.
She could do it on command.
She agreed to that role in the crime. Okay, I'll be that character. You got it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Amanda Seyfried is a police officer investigating the disappearance of her estranged and drug-addicted sister in the new series Long Bright River, which began streaming today on Peacock.
I'd like to investigate some things with that Amanda, how do you say it, Seyfried?
She accidentally showed her boobs to the guy in Twisters, whose name I forgot.
Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell.
What do you mean accidentally?
She said there was a wardrobe malfunction. I believe it was her that said it.
While they were filming a movie together?
Yeah, something like that.
If it was any other guy, I'd believe her.
Did you ever see that movie where that Amanda Seyfried is girlfriends with that redheaded gal who's a little older?
No.
I don't know the name of it, but everybody on planet Earth should see it.
Was there intimacy, perhaps?
I think her name is Juliana Moore.
Oh, I find her attractive as well.
There's a movie where Amanda Seyfried and I already forgot the name, and I said it.
Julia Moore. Then on Hulu, the premiere of Control Freak, a horror movie about a motivational speaker whose relentless itch on the back of her head reveals a parasitic demon that drives her mad.
A demon living on the back of your head.
Yeah.
Now that sounds like a fun movie.
Yeah.
Not as much fun as the one I was telling you about a couple minutes ago. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up the title. I can't remember.
Couple of very good friends.
I'm looking it up. Don't go anywhere until I find it.
Craven the Hunter is now streaming on Netflix. On Prime Video, the third season premiere of The Wheel of Time. And tonight on Fox, the third season finale of Animal Control.
I know the name of the movie.
What movie?
It's from the year 2009. Amanda Seyfried and Julianne Moore and Liam Neeson, but he doesn't get involved in the. He doesn't. You don't have to deal with Liam Neeson. Camera? No. He's barely in the movie. It's called Chloe.
Chloe. I'm not sure I've even heard of
It's
such a
suspenseful.
film.
Yeah, I've seen this.
You've seen it?
Yep.
Is it not one of the greatest movies of all time?
It is a pretty good movie, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
David Draymond of Disturbed, 52 today. William H. Macy, 75. And it was on this day in 1781, German-born astronomer and composer Sir William Herschel discovered Uranus, the first planet to be discovered with the aid of a telescope.
Cool.
Some shout-outs for the Hood, both brother and sister, and thank you for listening, by the way. Mr. Meng checked in with a shout-out to his father, who passed away 16 years ago today. And then he finished his text by saying, "Lucky bastard hasn't had to pay taxes this entire time."
I love that you're looking at it like that. That's awesome.
My dad hasn't had to pay taxes since 2013.
Lucky bastard.
Happy birthday to City of Bloomington Jesus, turning 65 today from your daughter and son-in-law. And happy 30th to our friend Fun Size Jesus from E. Lou and the boys. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Foot that ass. Foot that ass. Foot that ass.
on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Thankfully, this kid at that point had kind of beaten the odds and had beaten the cancer that he had, I believe, and like was really on the mend. And it was really cool. Like he came in and you're like, oh man, this guy's like doing good, right? High school kid, loved to play football. And AD was like, cool, come work out with me, right? 30 minutes in and AD's just ripping curls out. Next thing you know, this kid is puking in the trash can in the hallway. And I'm like, AD, can you please like have a little couth, a little understanding? Like,
the kid got what he wanted.
You know, it's not always the new guy puking in the corner. Sometimes it's the Make-A-Wish kid. Good morning, Randy Shaver.
I watched that interview. Very funny.
That was an interview with future Viking quarterback Matthew Stafford.
We're on that train now.
He's talking about a young man who was battling cancer, high school age kid. Things were looking up for the young man. He had beaten cancer, but he had one of those Make-A-Wish setups at the ready for him, and he said, I want to work out with Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams. Did I get the name right? Aaron Donald?
Yep, that's right.
And this Donald guy, I guess, doesn't have a low gear, and they're in the weight room over there at the Rams practice facility, and Matthew Stafford witnesses this just beat cancer kid vomiting in a trash can because Aaron Donald worked him so friggin' hard. That's hilarious. That's how you become a top athlete, Randy Shaver.
Exactly. Yeah. You take no prisoners.
Didn't he retire now, Aaron Donald?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's retired.
Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Well.
Friggin' go. Randy?
Well,
what?
Ben Johnson is gone.
Yeah, you know, the Golden Gophers got bumped out of the Big Ten tournament yesterday. And then in the middle of the night when nobody was looking, the head coach got fired.
The old 1 a.m. news dump.
Yep.
The athletic director over there at the University of Minnesota, a feller by the name of Mark Coyle, he let a pimp go. Waited for him to get home from, was it Indianapolis?
Yep.
Waited for their airplane to land last night around midnight, and then Mark Coyle immediately met with Ben Johnson and told him he was a goner after 4 years. Kind of a weird way to do it, isn't it, Randy? Or is this not out of the ordinary?
I don't think it's out of the ordinary. I think there's really no reason to, take any more time. I think Coyle had made up his mind. At least it feels that way. Made up his mind before the Big Ten tournament even started.
Yeah, maybe.
That they were going to go this direction. I feel bad for Ben.
Nice guy.
Nice guy, but the program needs a different voice. And I'm not so sure. I was reading the article this morning where Coyle said it's an extremely desirable job. I'm not so sure that's really true. I think it's a very difficult job in a very difficult conference. And unless you're going to provide the university with NIL money to compete with everybody else, it does make it difficult to be successful, especially with the way the world is now, where kids just come and go.
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
Yep. I was reading the potential candidates this morning.
Oh, yeah? Are you familiar with a lot of them?
Well, sure, Ryan Saunders. But
that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good choice.
Okay.
Personally, I think the guy at Drake is a great choice. I don't know if you've been following this Ben McCollum.
Not at all.
Okay, so Ben McCollum.
By the way, Ryan Saunders didn't like you when you were chosen lead anchor either. He didn't like that choice.
I'm sure he didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did. His dad hated me, so I'm sure he did.
True. Of course, that's not true. The guy from Drake. Go ahead.
So Ben McCollum is was the longtime coach at Northwest Missouri State in Division II.
All right.
And he had incredible success. He won, if you look up his record, from 2011 to 2024, he won the conference basically every year.
Yeah.
Made the Division II, was a Division II national champion, blah, blah, blah. Decided not to leave there. Had great success, was offered many times, many jobs. He won 395 games there. He was really good. He took the Drake job this year, and all he's done is made it to the NCAA tournament, and they're 30-3. All the guy does is know how to win.
All right.
At the levels he's coached. Now, I've been kind of following him a little bit in the last week, just kind of reading some things and listening to some things. He's a very loyal guy. So there's a chance that he won't leave Drake after 1 year because he's old school. And he probably feels...
You dance with who brung you.
Yeah, he probably feels like, you know what, that's just too short a period of time to be at one school. However, he would be a great choice, at least for the Gophers to at least talk to and listen to.
Yeah, where's Gene, Katie, and Jerry Tarkanian and guys like that when you need them? Any old-timers on that list? Guys that have been around forever?
Not that I can tell. Nico Medved has been talked about a lot from Colorado State. There's a coach from West Virginia, Darian DeVries, Oklahoma's coach. The Northern Iowa coach, Ben Jacobson's had a lot of success there. You know, there were a few years where Northern Iowa was making it to the NCAA tournament. Not so much lately. So, I mean...
Sorry, I'm smoking grass.
There's some names out there, and I'm sure there's others.
Okay, Roastmaster Jesus texted in. You know, you mentioned Ryan Saunders.
Yep.
And, of course, Ben Johnson was a local guy. Roastmaster Jesus said, the University of Minnesota, what do they expect when they keep doing these feel-good homer hires? So he would not be in favor of Ryan Saunders. He also has another interesting take, Josh. If we hire the Drake coach, you know, Wisconsin is going to hire Kendrick Lamar, he said.
Yes.
You know, go ahead, get the guy. I'll be there. I'm a sucker for this stuff. If this was 20 years ago, I could roll through some coaches that I was interested in, but I don't follow college basketball the way that I
think the bottom line is, and I agree with this, I don't think Ryan Saunders is the guy for this job. I think they need to go outside of Minnesota. They need to find someone who's got extensive experience coaching, a guy with a track record, and they got to find a way to support the program better than they have. And I know the discussion will come up about facilities and Williams Arena, and I don't think Williams Arena is going away anytime soon. So, you know, that's going to be part of the equation. But I'm sure they'll figure out what's best for the program. I'm sorry for Ben.
Yeah, me too.
He did a good job. They had a run there when they beat Oregon this year where you thought, okay, maybe they're going to turn this thing around. But they lost 7 of their last 11. They barely got into the tournament, and then they laid an egg once they got there. It just wasn't going to happen.
You know who a couple of our listeners want the University of Minnesota to make a telephone call to? They want him to call the mayor.
Well,
friggin' Freddie Hoiberg.
Yeah, but what kind of success has Fred had at Nebraska?
He's had a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we love Fred around here.
We do love Fred. Fred's a known commodity.
How about this? Listener says, we need a big name, like an old NBA player or something.
So let me throw one other name out there.
Is it an old NBA player? Charles Barkley.
No. Let me throw another name out there just because I love the guy.
Go.
He'll never leave here, but I think he's an awesome coach. Johnny Tower at St. Thomas.
I don't know the guy.
The University of St. Thomas basically won their conference again this year. Johnny Tower is one of the best coaches you're ever going to find. Now, he'll never leave St. Thomas. They're going to be Division I and eligible for the NCAA tournament starting next year. But, man,
all right,
the guy can coach, and he's a great guy.
Johnny Tower, I'll keep him in mind. Hell, the Wolves beat Denver on the road, and they beat them by 20 points.
Clobbered them.
That's impressive. That was wire to wire.
Don't you think that was the best performance of the year?
I didn't get to see all of it because it was CP times around halftime. I had to go to bed.
I really thought it was one of the best performances of the year just because we are into mid-March, they're finally healthy again, and just played with incredible energy, making shots,
played defense,
assisting each other. Played defense. They had 31 assists last night. They played tremendous. And one of the things, I know we didn't have many assists last night, but something we haven't talked about lately is the resurgence of Julius Randle as a player.
Yeah, he's starting to look like the guy we saw in New York last year.
Yeah, but not so much as a scorer, but as an assist player.
Okay.
As someone, I think there was
distributor.
as when he came back from the injury, I think there was a stretch where in 5 games he had like 45 assists. He was passing the ball all over the place. And I think that's kind of helped that and Jaden McDaniels becoming an offensive threat. Those two things have really sparked this team here in the last 10 games.
I think Finchie told Jaden McDaniels, look, kid, you can friggin' score. Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's working. So they're 3-0 against the Nuggets this season. They've got those punks number. They'll play again in a couple weeks. Of course, Jokic led the Nuggets with 34 points. The Nuggets blow when he's on the bench. He is their entire ball club right now.
Well, look at their bench right now. Their bench is just basically a bunch of nobodies.
They're terrible when he's not on the floor. That's why he should be the MVP. Denver waved the white flag with about 5 minutes left. They were down 20-something.
Pulled their starters.
They put the JV guys out there. Up next, the boys are at home to play the Orlando Magics tomorrow night.
Yep.
Let me give you the rundown. They're starting to look like the club from last year.
They are.
The Timberwolves.
I agree.
I hope I'm not missing anybody here. I think I can give you the full rundown of winners from yesterday's girls' high school basketball tournament. Cretin-Derham Hall beat Monticello. Monticello had a 29-game unbeaten streak until they played yesterday. Eastview. Isn't that where you went to school, Dana?
Absolutely. Did we win?
They beat Anoka.
Hell yeah, we did.
Anoka. Alexandria beat De La Salle. What other famous athletes went to Eastview?
Oh, gosh. I mean, both the Jones brothers, Tyus and...
no, they didn't.
Yeah,
they went to Eastview.
Gable Stevenson, the wrestler.
No, they
Eastview legend. Pride of Eastview, for sure. Absolutely.
Kurt Angle.
No, they did. No,
Kurt
they
Angle
didn't.
went to Eastview.
Mm-hmm. Lindsey Vaughn, Eastview.
No.
Alexandria beat De La Salle. Benilde beat Stewartville. Marshall over Rock Ridge. Hopkins beat Chaska. Maple Grove defeated White Bear Lake. Lakeville whooped Brainerd. Crosby Ironton over Barnesville. Minnehaha Academy was too much for Caledonia. And Providence Academy won their game. Chip Greenway's daughter messed around and got a triple-double, 29 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. More games today. And this time I believe they'll be on television.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
When can I turn on my television?
I think, well, maybe I'm wrong. Are the AA semis tonight? I don't have a schedule in front of me. I know Class A hasn't started.
Josh is studying the schedule right now. Where is it, Josh?
I think I sent it to you.
I have it over here.
Class A quarterfinals are today.
All right. I'll just turn on my television and I'll find out, just like the old days. Just like the old days. Marshall, Minnesota. One of my favorite all-time Rick's Cabaret girls came from Marshall, Josh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do I know this person?
I believe the two of you would have met. Yeah, you had to have met with all those Toys for Tatas gimmicks we did. Brandy.
Oh, sure. Marshall, huh? Didn't know that.
Singer and actor Eminem is looking to own a WNBA franchise, an expansion team, Randy Shaver, in his home city of Detroit. So the WNBA currently has 13 teams. In the old days, we would have chanted that. In 20 plus 26, they'll have 15. Portland and Toronto will join the deal. In 20, then 27, they're looking to add at least one more club. Detroit wants in. Eminem wants to help out, along with fellers like Jared Goff, Grant Hill, and Chris Webber are trying to make it happen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like all those
love
people.
Eminem.
I was just watching the old Fab Five documentary the other day. Speaking of Chris Webber, the story of the University of Michigan team there in the early 90s. Great story if you haven't seen the Fab Five documentary. Other towns that want in, that are in competition with Detroit, Austin, Texas, Charlotte, Cleveland, Houston, and Kansas City, which has the backing of Patrick Mahomes.
Let's go with Eminem.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know word one about Eminem, but I'm taking his side against Patrick Mahomes anytime.
You should. He's a legend.
Spooky Spaghetti Jesus Nick said the only thing Marshall grows more than corn is strippers.
Oh, my God.
That's their number 2 export.
That's great. There's a pile of football jibber-jabber going around, Randy Shaver, so hang on to something. Harrison Smith is putting off retirement. He'll play for the Vikings next season.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I love
That's
that.
great.
I bet your fiance is very happy, Dana.
Oh, she started crying.
Did she really?
Yeah.
That's
she
her favorite guy, right?
absolutely loves Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
She's not alone in that. I think a lot of female Vikings fans are very much like Harrison Smith.
It's hard not to love the guy.
I'm not a fan. Free agent defensive tackle Javon Hargrave has agreed to a deal with the Vikings, okay? The guy, he can do this, he can do that. He hasn't played a lot lately. Appeared in just 19 games in the last 2 seasons for the San Francisco 49ers. He was hotter than Dutch Love there for a while. When he was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, he was a Pro Bowler. So, I don't know, would you call this an attempt to kind of resurrect a guy's career a little bit here? I don't know. Like the Twins always seem to do. They're always resurrecting
It's a little
someone.
bit, a little bit different than that. But, yeah, I would say that he's a veteran player that if he's healthy can really help this team.
All right. The Los Angeles Rams are officially releasing that Cooper Kupp character. He could stand a visit, Josh, to a barber shop.
Yeah, for a long time. And maybe get a new razor or something.
He's got the James Harden beard.
Oh.
Anytime
It just
my
doesn't
mom,
come in as good as James
No,
Harden's,
it doesn't. Yeah, you're
That's
right.
what makes it look bad.
anytime my mom sees anybody with too long of a beard or too long of hair, it doesn't matter. They could be the best athlete in the world. And she's like, nah, he should get a haircut.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to get that way. And I used to love long hair. I'm getting the same way.
You're getting to an age now where you look at young people with long hairdos and you think they should go visit a barber
Yeah,
shop?
my son all the time. I think it's ridiculous. And I had longer
that
hair
for
than he
you.
did. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, you had some long hairs. All right, so Cooper Kupp. Total douchewagon Russell Wilson is visiting the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants to see whether or not they want to try him out at the quarterback position. Does that get you excited at all, Randy?
No.
No, it does not.
No, sir.
Moving on.
I think the fact that's happening, though, opens things up for Rodgers to end up in Pittsburgh. I think that's where I think he's been offered already, and he's trying to figure out if he's going to say yes or not.
All right. By the way, folks are texting in saying that you can watch girls' high school basketball today on Channel 45.
Okay, good.
Which does nothing for me because I don't have the channel.
Oh my gosh, we've told you how to do it.
What do I do?
You just download the app. It's very, very easy. Your wife can show you how to do it, and then it's free.
She's not going to be around today. She's going out of town.
Oh, yeah. Nah, yeah, you're SOL then.
Josh, you still got...
He's going to have company over.
She's leaving town. I will have company over, though.
Maybe a couple people from Marshall, Minnesota.
Calling Marshall, Minnesota. Do they still have like an old lady operator down there?
Where they unplug one cord and put somewhere else.
I'm going to call the operator in Marshall. I bet I have some company by noon today, Ashley. Wife's not going to be around for a couple of... Now, I don't watch this program. Do you guys watch a program by the name of College Game Day?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Nick Saban.
Yes.
Boy, you were swinging from his job.
I love Nick Saban.
I know you love that guy.
I watch so many videos of Nick Saban. It's crazy.
You would scissors with Nick Saban.
Probably.
That's an image.
Oh, ouch.
I didn't know he was on the show. Did you notice this, Randy? If you watched the show, it says here he received multiple FCC complaints.
Yes,
over his language.
That's correct.
Well, why can't he watch his language?
Same way as maybe Anthony Edwards can. It's just part of who they are. I don't know.
But Edwards is a little different. Edwards is. I mean,
I'll be A1 from day one.
There he is, right there. Nick Saban is sitting on a television set. What do you call it in the business? On a studio.
You're right. Yeah,
he has hours to prepare for what he's going to say.
Right.
So what it says to me is arrogance. I'm going to say what I want because I'm Nick Saban. I know that rubs you the wrong way.
I don't look at it that way.
I get aggravated by that because I want to cuss too, but I don't.
Oh, that'd be so fun if we could cuss.
But there's all these big shots now that just think they can cuss and everyone else will clean up the mess. It aggravates me.
Yeah.
So he had multiple complaints this season because he won't stop cussing on television.
He doesn't do it every show. I've seen him. I've seen him do it a couple of times. But.
20 times people called. I think I had it in front of me. One individual called the FCC and said Nick Saban said the S word twice, and he said bitch once.
Who takes the time out of their day to call the FCC?
Bible bangers, Dana.
Old people.
Bible bangers.
Yeah.
Pearl clutchers.
And this individual said he swore also, but I can't remember what word it was. I tune in.
It's really offensive then.
I'm looking to gain knowledge and insight on college football, not to have profanity stuffed in my face by a former coach trying to be funny. Others texted, the show is on from 9 to noon. Children are awake and can be exposed to this.
Oh.
You got your little kid watching that. I don't want to watch that.
Gather around, son. Let's watch College Game Day.
Yeah. No.
Well, what are you talking about? Kids like to watch football coverage, right?
I think they like to watch actual football games. But they're not really into watching some talking head.
When I was a little kid, you couldn't have pried me away from, what was the Brent Musburger show, Randy?
Oh,
NFL
sure.
Today.
CBS. Yeah, NFL Today.
Oh,
but that
so
was different,
cute.
though, because that wasn't 3 hours. That was an hour.
It didn't matter. I was there.
Yeah.
Little kids sit.
I'm with you, Nick. That's all my son watches. If he's not watching those shows, he's watching a TikToker talk about it, or it's all he watches.
No way.
And again, I want to make it very clear that I'm not worried about what our children are exposed to. I couldn't possibly care less. I'm jealous. I want to cuss on the microphone. These guys do it all the time. Someone else, they said this and that. He loves to cuss. A former player at the University of Alabama by the name of Caleb Downs once said that Nick Saban racked up $500 in a swear jar due to his inability to keep his language clean in team meetings. They had a swear jar for him. Oh, man, you want to hear about a good scam? I do love a good scam. There are exceptions, of course. Here's a guy by the name of Malcolm Walker. He's the father of a University of Colorado Buffaloes linebacker named Montrez Walker, whoever that is. The old man, Malcolm, was recently arrested and charged with theft by deception. He's accused of fraudulently posing as a college football recruiter, and he'd go ahead and scam families out of thousands of dollars.
Oh, my God. And his own kid is playing for Colorado?
His own kid apparently plays for Colorado.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
He'd tell parents, hey, the University of Colorado wants your kid to play ball here. I'll go ahead and organize a visit. The kid should come to town. So he'd tell them, I booked you a plane ride. I've got you a hotel room. I got you game tickets for the next game. I just need $1,000 to make it happen. And then once he got the monies, he gone.
Wow. You would think the University of Colorado would be chasing after this guy.
Well, maybe they didn't know Dick Tracy about it. He covered his tracks well.
Wow.
Multiple individuals have stepped forward now saying, hey, that's the same guy who did that to us. Scam people out of tens of thousands of dollars with the promise of a college football recruiting type setup.
Wow.
I told you about my buddy who was approached by a real DJ who worked in this town many, many years ago. He was a real DJ working in town here. And he said to my buddy, they met at a bar or something, you got a pretty good radio voice. Would you like to join me on my well, I don't know if it was called a podcast, satellite radio type. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dude said, you got a good radio voice, you got a good sense of humor. Would you join me on my side gig, satellite radio, whatever it was? And my buddy, being he's not a sucker. He's not. But he said, well, yeah. And so then my buddy became this DJ's employee, right? So the DJ says, well, I'm going to need your checking account number so I can send you checks. I'm going to need your social security number for tax purposes. They sat and did 8 or 10, and I'm using air quotes here, radio shows. The entire time, my pal thought, this is my big break into radio. Thousands of people are listening. He never knew that the real DJ never turned on a microphone, fooled my buddy into thinking they were live. They were just talking to each other, and that was it. And in the end, my buddy got ripped off a significant amount of money by this DJ.
Oh, my.
But I'll always appreciate my pal because he was, I said he wasn't a sucker, but he was a shady kid when we were growing up. Oh, God, did he raise hell. When he got done telling me this story, because he asked me, he said, do you know this DJ? And I did not. When he got done telling me the story, he said, I got to tell you, it was a pretty good scam.
To
Game
go through to do fake shows with somebody, that just sounds exhausting.
His first mistake was the mistaken belief that radio has the money to pay people who actually do work there.
Right. He was upset. He was hurt.
Yeah.
And he was out a few $1,000s, but still, he said, I got to hand it to the guy.
We just missed getting scammed by a phony softball club team. A guy.
Phony softball club team?
Yeah, a guy who had a softball club team. He was asking some of the girls in town, he wanted to join this team. And we had to say no because it was too expensive. I mean, and I know for some people they pay way more, but it was around $3,000. And we just said, no, that's too much. We can't do that. And it turns out it was a scam. And a bunch of families fell for it. The guy, there was no team. He took all the money.
Bogus.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Randy, bear with us here. We got to change gears for just a couple of minutes. When you were a younger person, Randy Shaver, did Kiss scare you?
No.
Did Alice Cooper scare you at all?
I was never an Alice Cooper fan, but I would say no.
Black Sabbath?
No.
No, I was terrified of Black Sabbath. It was because of an older kid told me they were devil worshippers and all this stuff. They scared the heck out of me when I was little.
Randy Shaver, you ever seen King Diamond?
I have not, no.
Don't.
Did you ever? Yeah, don't look at King Diamond. Did you ever heard of a band called Danzig?
I have not.
They had some scary album covers and what. The reason I'm asking is we got a band coming to town, and everyone says they're scary as all hell. 93X presents Sleep Token and their return to the Twin Cities. That's Wednesday, October 1st at Target Center. Tickets go on sale next Friday. If you want more information, go to our website. We made that announcement an hour ago. Here's more information on Sleep Token. We will premiere their new single called Emergence today, starting at 10 a.m., and then we're going to dump it on you every hour after that. Sleep Token. We started talking about them earlier, and everyone said, Ashley's afraid of them. I looked at a picture. I'm slightly afraid. I just wanted to know if there was ever a band back. But you grew up, there wasn't really that shock rock band until you were a little older.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, there really wasn't. I mean, unless you count John Denver.
Oh.
I was terrified of John Denver. But.
Fill up my senses.
Yes.
Like a night in a forest.
Yes. It's scary.
What was that song called? It had a funny name. Was it Annie's song? Yeah.
That might be right. Yeah.
Like a night in a forest, like a sleepy old prostitute. I can't remember the next word. It wasn't a sleep. He didn't sing about sleepy old.
I don't think it was prostitute.
Like a night on a farm. So Sleep Token.
Should I Google Sleep Token? Would I be scared?
It is scary.
Yeah, do it.
And
check them out.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy. Further looking at all this information I have in front of me, Ashley, how come you're not telling anybody about your gig?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think it would be an appropriate time during sports.
Well, I didn't mean right now. I meant you haven't said a word about it at all.
It's been
it's
all
an
over.
outdoorsy thing.
Ashley,
I guess, yeah.
Join Ashley today at the Northwest Sports Show. Live performance by King Diamond.
No.
Join Ashley today at the Northwest Sports Show, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Stop by for your chance to win concert tickets and a $250 gift card to Reed's Family Outdoor Outfitters. For more information, go to our website. You're going to the, how do you call it, sports show?
Yes, I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
While you're there, I would like you to purchase me a camper.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
I would like a crossbow, if you don't mind.
Oh, hell yeah.
And crossbow lessons.
How about I paint a decoy for you guys? Because they will be having that going on.
They'll allow you to paint a decoy?
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? They'll also have exclusive specials, of course, and expert presentations that you can watch.
You're an artist, so I bet you can paint a pretty decoy.
I'm really excited about that. I want to know how many they'll let me paint.
Well, yeah, will you bring one in if possible? That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love those shows.
Hey, can you snag me some meat sticks? They usually have meat sticks that.
Oh, dude, they totally do, Dana.
The last time I worked one of those, I brought you meat sticks.
You did? Uh-huh.
Why are we not saying jerky anymore?
Well, because you can't. These weren't jerky.
It's not jerky?
No, it was different.
It's a meat stick?
It was meat sticks, yeah.
Randy, are you afraid of Sleep Token?
Absolutely terrifying.
You are afraid.
All right.
Why in the world would anybody want to go watch that? I don't know.
People are been very, very excited about this via text here since we made the announcement. Apparently the drummer's awesome.
It is a slightly different demographic, Randy. So I understand why you wouldn't be interested personally.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Is it this generation's Kiss?
Well, there's so many, who go for the scare factor. I don't know if you'd give them that label.
Yeah.
Where back when Kiss began, it was basically just Kiss and Alice Cooper who went down that route. Good question. Randy Shaver, back to, I have one more football story for you. West Virginia football coach Rich Rodriguez.
Yep.
He's banned his team from posting dancing videos on TikTok.
That's so funny.
He says it's not the image that he wants for his football club.
I mean, they're going to be on it, so I'm not banning them from. I just banning them from dancing on it. It's like, don't look. We try to have a hard edge, whatever, and you're in there in your tights, dancing on TikTok. Ain't quite the image of our program that I want.
Randy Shaver, if we were a college ball club and you were our coach,
you would not be going dancing on TikTok.
So you would not be cool with us dancing on TikTok?
I would not be cool with that. No.
Rich Rodriguez, you heard him there.
Yeah.
He's not saying his teammates, that's not the word, his players. He's not saying his players aren't allowed to go on TikTok. He just better not catch you dancing on it. And his final quote here is quite funny. In 20 years, if they want to be in the basement in their pajamas eating Cheetos and watching TikTok, then go at it. You want to smoke cannabis? Whatever. Knock yourself out in 20 years. But I hope your focus now can be winning football games. How about let's win football games and not worry about winning the TikTok?
Yep.
Smoke cannabis? Okay, Grandpa.
That's awesome.
That's how he... That's the route he's going to take.
I don't blame him.
That reminds me of that old story about Bud Grant that was told to me by a local sports guy who's been around for quite a few years. The story he told me was that in the late 70s, the Vikings signed a wide receiver, but the guy was injured at the time. But they figured, okay, 2-3 weeks, this guy will be okay, and then we can use him. So for the first couple, 3 games, this guy was just going to be in street clothes on the bench. Vikings have a home game for this guy's first, official appearance with the club. Dude's in street clothes, and you know how they do it, and they even used to do it years ago. During television timeouts, they'd play some music over the PA at the old Met Stadium. And this guy, who was in his street clothes, was dancing on the sideline, And Bud Grant kind of side-eyed him a couple times. and as if to say, no dancing on the sideline. Look, we got a job to do here. We're a football team. Sit down and look at some plays. Talk to your teammates about this and that. But, again, 20 minutes later, there's another timeout, and a song is playing over the PA, and this guy is doing his little shimmy shake again. He never suited up for the Vikings. Bud pretty much handed him, showed him the exit after the game was over. No dancing.
That sounds like Bud.
Let's see how the Pigs do against the New York Rangers tonight at the X. If you're not going down to see the game live, you can find it on your television set starting at 7 o'clock on the FanDuel channel.
Kind of mixed reviews over the last couple of weeks with the Wild. So hopefully they'll find a way to win their second in a row tonight.
Well, scoring more than one goal in regulation should help their cause.
It should, yes. And to be honest with you, the way the West is shaking out right now, they've got a pretty firm grip on the wild card spot. So it's not like they're in danger, at least at this point. It doesn't feel like they're in danger of, falling off the playoff wagon at this point. I mean, they've got almost an 8-point lead over Vancouver for a spot. So I think they're in pretty good shape, but they just can't. They got to, especially winning games against teams that, like the Rangers, who are not in a playoff position right now.
And winning at home.
Yep, winning at home.
They still have like 15 straight home games ahead of them.
They're barely a 500 team at home.
Right.
So.
Vancouver is behind them. Randy, were you ever intimidated or scared of the band Loverboy?
No.
Because whenever
I was jealous of them.
Yeah,
great band.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone says Vancouver out loud, I can't help but think of Loverboy. A player by the name of Brandon Montour scored the fastest goal in NHL overtime history last night. He scored 4 seconds into overtime to give the completely unnecessary Seattle Kraken a win over the Montreal Canadiens.
If you're just joining us, thank you, but you have missed a lot. So don't do it again. Off the draw. Here it is. Montour. Right in. He scores! Hey, hey! What do you say? 5 seconds in. Brandon Montour wins it in overtime.
He put that puck, Josh, where Mama keeps the peanut butter. So that's the fastest goal in overtime history. That 4 seconds matches 3 other players in the history of the league that have scored 4 seconds into a period. Some dude did it in the late 50s for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stupid Dennis Savard did it for Chicago against Hartford in 1986. James Van Riemsdyk did it for Toronto against Philadelphia in 20+14. 4 seconds. No sex jokes on that being a long time?
No.
Nope.
I was waiting for Josh, but
No, it
he
was
passed.
too easy.
Ashley, did you see what happened with the San Jose Sharks mascot, Sharky?
Yeah, what's up with this dude?
Some dude at the Sharks game tried to throw hands with Sharky.
This is up on 93x.com. This made me really mad. What are you doing?
He must have been drunk.
I don't care.
Sharky, the lovable mascot for the San Jose Sharks, he comes, of course, they're probably losing the game. There's not a lot of people in the rink. He comes over and sits next to some guy, and somehow in the process of Sharky sitting down, check out the video on our website, the guy falls backwards in his chair, and somehow he blamed Sharky for this and wanted to fight him. A grown man wanted to fight another grown man in a shark suit, a puffy, cartoonish shark suit. Security had to separate them. I watched this 3 or 4 times. Of course, I thought it was a bit at first. This does not look like a bit.
Nope, not at all.
That guy looks really upset.
He looks like such a tool,
Yeah,
too.
he does. You're right.
Oh, are you all alone at the game? I wonder why.
He did look like a guy that starts trouble and can never finish it.
And if you look around the rink, there's like so many empty seats. It's insane.
Yeah.
This guy should be really effing embarrassed.
I bet Sharky would have kicked his butt, too.
That's embarrassing.
He's not in, like, too much, like not like a.
Not an oversized costume.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's got his hands.
He's got a big shark head, and then the rest of him is fairly human.
He could have took him down.
He can wear breezers and a jersey. A regular shark is not going to pull breezers and a jersey over there.
Especially because I'm sure, usually the people in the mascots aren't older gentlemen. They usually are in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they have to be able to dance and do backflips and jump through fire hoops and things like that.
Yeah.
This guy wanted to fight a mascot. What the hell's the matter with you?
Disgusting.
They are unfairly targeted at times by drunks, it seems.
Just leave them alone. And kids. Kids like to pull their tails if they have them.
And pet detectives, too.
Pet detectives as well. Your friend beat up a mascot. You've told that story before.
One of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
And then felt shame.
He did. He dressed up as a chicken for the state final soccer game when I was in high school. Wayzata was playing somebody in the state final title game. Their mascot was an eagle. Maybe it was Apple Valley. I don't know. But in the stands, I see a man dressed as a chicken walking down the aisle towards the field. And we're all laughing and wondering who this person is. And I even said before he stepped out onto the field, I said, "Hey, dude, who are you?" And he picks up his mask, and it was a kid from my class, a guy I knew very well. Next thing you know, he hops onto the field of play. Now, this is the 1980s, so it wasn't like they had cops everywhere. They had zero security. It's a high school soccer game. Why were any of us there in the first place, right? Dude's on the field of play now, and he goes over to that eagle mascot and gives it the beating of its life. And we're all, now the whole crowd is roaring, like, what in the hell is happening here? Like, he's stomping on the, beating the, and the mascot for the eagle comes off.
I forgot.
And it was a girl.
Oh, it's one of my favorite stories.
I saw a mascot get stretchered out of the football field before.
What happened?
He was, he had his back to the sideline, and he got taken out.
Got run over.
Yeah, and it was scary because it was obviously a very serious injury, but there's something very funny about seeing a guy in a mascot costume getting stretchered out.
Did they keep the head on?
Like setting the leg and stuff. He's
yes,
in a wildcat costume.
I think the most infamous is probably Mungie the Moose. What's his name for the Seattle Mariners? Munging the Moose? Is it Munging?
Ooh, I don't know.
It's definitely not munging.
Marty the Moose, Mickey the Moose for the Seattle Mariners.
Mariner Moose.
He's being towed. He's wearing rollerblades at their old dome,
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing rollerblades. He's being towed behind a four-wheeler. And they got going a little too fast. He loses control. He hits the outfield wall, and it broke his leg for him.
Yeah, that does seem sketchy. What are you doing?
That one I think is the most famous mascot blunder, unless I'm forgetting. Listen to this, Randy Shaver. We don't normally cover a lot of college baseball around here. But yesterday,
yes,
the Kansas Jayhawks college basketball team beat
baseball.
What did I say?
Basketball.
Sorry. The Kansas Jayhawks baseball team beat your Golden Gopher baseball team by a final of 29-1.
Did you see the home runs, though?
Well, I saw that there were 5 of them in a row.
Yes. 5 consecutive home runs.
Same pitcher?
I don't know that for sure, but I watched the video, and they played inside the Viking Stadium.
Oh, right, U.S. Bank.
I'm sure that the sight lines are not, the background, whatever's not perfect for baseball, but I tell you what, it looked like it was Rockies Field in Colorado because the ball was just carrying.
5 dongs in a row. That is
all the left field too, by the way. That's just completely annihilated them.
That ties a college baseball record.
One to right.
Josh, 9 times out of 10, if we're going to a baseball game, I don't care what level of baseball it is, I'd be willing to bet you oral that 5 home runs in a row is not going to happen.
Yep.
Can't happen that often.
I'd be willing to bet oral on that.
I'm also willing to bet that there's going to be some text messages coming in about 5 dongs in a row involving a certain member of the show's mother.
Oh, no. People might not even been thinking of that.
Too late.
Sorry to put that thought in your heads, everybody.
You planted the seed. Whoops, there we go again. All right, Randy Shaver, that's enough out of you. Watch that high school basketball today on Channel 45.
I will.
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Assed Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
Oh, is this John Denver?
Yes, I'm frightened. Oh, God, it's scary.
Thanks, Data. Here come the texts.
Here they come.
I owe you a Mountain Dew.
I got to go. I'm scared.
Bye, Randy. Poor bastard died, didn't he?
He did.
Not Randy.
No, Randy's still
John
kicking.
Denver. We'll be right back on the program.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
No Contest Wrestling, where O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their hot takes with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Braun Breaker. Welcome to the pod.
My aspirations in life, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar.
The Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. I got to talk about the Hugger cosplay.
I mean, it was perfect, wasn't it? You know?
LA Knight. What am I doing here?
At this point, I can retire. See you, everybody. The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Oh, for God's sake, welcome on back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. I'll tell you, you're a great crowd. Love this crowd. Earlier, we were talking about a scary-looking band called Sleep Theory. Go to our website. We got all kinds of information going on concerning the band Sleep Theory. They got a show coming to town. We're premiering their new song at 10 a.m., and they're going to play it every hour on the hour after that. Sleep Theory, scary looking. When I was a kid, Kiss scared me. But that's what drew me to them. Absolutely drew me to them. As soon as I saw them on a poster, I remember the exact poster. As soon as I saw them, I had to know who are these guys? What are they doing? Scared me, loved them for it. Josh, you mentioned you were scared of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I heard so many Satan-worshiping stories about those guys. They terrified me.
The album cover for AC/DC's record, If You Want Blood, You Got It, scared me. Because Angus Young is being impaled to death by his own guitar. And lead singer Bon Scott doesn't seem concerned at all. He's just singing the song. The guitar has gone completely through. I was scared of that. We talked to Randy Shaver about this. Asked him if there were any bands he was afraid of when he was a kid. Problem was, all that shock rock stuff like Kiss and Alice Cooper, by the time they came along and gained big-time popularity, Randy Shaver was already pretty much grown at that point. He was a little too old to be afraid of those bands at that point. But I did receive a text message. I think this is a pretty good question, Josh. We didn't get a chance to ask Randy. He's gone now. He's back in bed, I would imagine. A listener wants to know, was Randy terrified of Tiny Tim?
If he was, I could understand why. I like Tiny Tim he's just so weird. I was drawn to him. Oh, by the way, Sleep
weird.
Token, not Sleep Theory. I missed you saying Sleep Theory.
I said it a bunch of times, too. Sorry.
Yeah, Sleep Token, that was the announcement this morning.
Sleep Token, not Sleep Theory. I apologize.
Yeah, just another Army mechanic. Jesus is right. Tiny Tim, he has given me the creeps as well.
He's dead. You want to know an interesting true story? I was at his wedding. You want to know why? Because morning radio sucks. That's why. At the time, I was working on a morning show, and Tiny Tim got married right here in Minnesota, and the dudes that were running things back then said, why don't you go off to Tiny Tim's wedding and see if you can get any interviews with famous people? I stood there with my thumb in my ass for 4 hours. Nothing happened. But I was at Tiny Tim's wedding, Josh.
He was buried here, too. I saw, not necessarily a documentary, but kind of a short film about him and his life. And I think his wife was from here, and he ended up being buried here.
Oh. All right. What else is going on? No one's going to blame you if you're afraid of Tiny Tim. If you're a little bit younger, you can look him up. What else? It says here, people have had enough of self-checkouts at grocery stores. What's the problem?
What? I love them.
I
like them
also-
to win.
Who, Josh?
I like them too.
All right.
I mean, I'm fine with either, but it's pretty convenient.
People have taken to social media where they're wildly uninformed and they're venting about the self-checkouts at grocery stores and how they've had enough. I think this is one of the friggin' slickest damn things you can experience, is rolling up to the counter all by yourself. You check out your stuff at your own damn pace, throw it in a bag, you're out. You throw your card in and out of the card thing, you're out. I don't understand what the problem is.
My favorite thing about the self-checkouts is that it's a race between me and the person next to me, but they just don't know it. But I'm racing them. I want to get done. I want to beat them.
Oh, I take my friggin' sweet time. You want to go fast?
Oh, yeah. I go as fast as possible.
I like to see if I could work there. I like to see if I have the skills to maybe apply for a job, which, around here could be any second. Just to see if, I have the skills to check people out.
Oh, I would struggle with the cash register. You know how I am with numbers. I would struggle understanding the card machine. It would take some training.
A lot of those. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Your thoughts?
A lot of those at grocery stores, specifically, like when you buy herbs or unmarked vegetables or fruit.
Yeah.
Those it impresses me every single time that the cashiers remember what number to look up.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, how do you? There's I feel like there's thousands of numbers they have to remember. It's very impressive.
Oh, a zucchini? That's 0651.
Dude, blows my mind every single time.
Here are the complaints. We're all in agreement. We like the self-checkout gimmick. Here are the complaints. The item limit.
Oh, I've never listened to that.
So then you're part of it. Because I hate when I'm just getting one or two things and there's somebody in front of me that's got 2 carts full.
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere anymore, the item limit, at least where I grocery shop.
If I have a full cart, I'll definitely go through the main lane.
I've blown past the item limit sign without a care in the world, but sure. People bitch about how often something goes wrong and then the employee has to come over and fix it by entering a code.
That can be kind of annoying.
Well,
Here's the
do
thing.
it right.
Here's the thing. Generally speaking, everyone's in way too much of a hurry these days. So I imagine that's the overall problem. People just want to bing, bing, be done with everything instantly. Anything gets in their way, they go sideways.
But my time's more important than everybody else's.
People texting in, the biggest annoyance, it seems like, so far via text, is just folks who don't know how to do it.
That can be frustrating.
Well, that's me. It takes me a while to find that code on the item. That's me. I take my time.
I always, even if I know I'm going through self-checkout, I'll put the item in the cart so it'll be the easiest way to pick up and scan. Try and figure out to make sure I know where the barcodes are. Tonka TIG Welding Jesus said self-checkout equals free small stuff. Oops, forgot to scan the cookies.
Oh, no, never. I'm terrified of the people that run it.
Red Bull Jesus and a couple others are saying the same thing, that some grocery stores are taking them out for that reason. People not scanning
People
stuff.
are stealing.
Come on.
All right. I'll admit my wife has to babysit me when we're in the self-checkout because of all the problems I listed already. I can't always find the code on the back. I have troubles with the credit card machine. I do need a babysitter. I do go slow. But, Josh, were you kidding earlier when you said something about getting a job at a grocery store?
Well, I had one, but I wasn't somebody that checked out. Yeah, and just like this person here, Wisconsin sports fan Jesus said, his goal is to have a manager come over to him and offer him a job with how fast he is. Said it hasn't happened yet. That's how I feel. I want to be the best self-checkouter that's ever existed.
The cashier prodigy.
Where they talk about you at Home Depot or whatever.
The beer league goalie Jesus texted in to say that Dana's mother has an item limit too, but she ignores that. Okay. I don't know. I think I've shared this with you before, but that's what I want to do when I finally escape this nightmare. I don't know why, but in my old age, I love going to the grocery.
I loved that job. I loved being a carryout. I loved everybody I worked with. That was fun.
There's something about the vibe. There's something about the food. I think my appetite is getting more out of control by the day. So food draws me in a little bit more, just the sight of it. Look at that. Look at that style of steak. Look at that stuff. I'm not a foodie, and I never will be, but I love the vibe at the grocery store. I don't know what's happened to me because when I was younger, I couldn't stand it. And when I'm done with this, I want to be the old-timer stocking shelves. That's what I want to do when I'm done with this. And I'm 100% serious with you.
I absolutely love the grocery store, too. I go every single day. I don't...
Every day? Really?
Yep, I don't do the whole...
You got a hollow leg or something?
I try to buy for like 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, I don't like doing that because then I forget I have things and then they go bad. And so I just go every day.
That's why you just don't eat fruits and vegetables and you'll be fine.
Just get things from the freezer, Ashley.
If people are texting in on the Sam's Club Scan and Go, that's why we switched to Sam's Club. I love that. So, Nick, you just on your phone, like my wife has the Sam's Club app, and you scan things as you put them in the cart, and then you can walk out.
Oh, wow.
My mom
That sounds like it's even easier
that.
to steal stuff.
I'm so proud. Oh, no, they have people checking at the door.
Yeah, they have people.
No, they do.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just wave someone through, but yeah, usually they have somebody checking you out.
My mom
it takes a second, though.
She figured out how to do that, and that's like really impressive because she's like you, Nick. She's not very good with technology. So I think you could get it down.
Well, I'll just be stocking shelves.
Widespread panic.
You know what I mean? I don't want any more responsibility than that. I am quite particular about what I want to do at the grocery store.
You'd probably like the stocking of the shelves.
Yeah.
I liked it when they'd have me do it because, you're facing everything. I still do that at home now just from habit. Turning everything so it's facing the correct way, lining things up in order.
So I know that you guys are, especially you, Nick, you're kind of anal about a couple of different things.
Sure.
When I go through...
Sex is one of them.
Not me. That's the only thing I'm not anal about.
Jeez. When I go through the normal line at the grocery store...
Normal line.
So not the self-checkout. I have to make sure that, everything is grouped together perfectly.
Oh, no, I don't have that problem.
Oh, I do that too.
Yeah, and I, make sure that, everything's even, lined up straight and nice. And I think every time the cashier looks at me like, what's wrong with this one?
It's funny that you're pointing this out because in every other aspect of my life, my personal life, organization is massive. But at the grocery store, I get hollered at by the wife because I'll put a couple of steaks in with some Drano in the same bag. You know what I mean? And she says, what are you, trying to kill us? So, no, I don't have that problem at the grocery line.
Widespread panic, Jesus said, look up smart shopping carts. You scan and they weigh it with your cart. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because is it NFC tags? Some places are doing that. Those Amazon standalone stores.
Yeah.
It's like that.
You can just grab something to walk out and it'll just charge you.
I've always wanted to go to one of those. They look so, futuristic.
No name Jesus, thank you for texting. He's called me out here. No doubt about it. I mentioned that I just, for whatever reason, I thoroughly enjoy a trip to the grocery. No name Jesus says the hot mamas are a factor there, too. And he's absolutely right. There's foxy ladies. You don't see foxy ladies at the grocery store?
No, because I go after work. If I go, so it's just me and the old people.
That's elderly people,
The elderly.
Yeah, but I like it because I see the same people every day. And I think I've got a little community going on.
So actually makes friends.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you. You're so close to getting the senior discount at the grocery store. At least when I worked, it was $55. And I remember thinking, they got life nailed. Getting that discount.
I didn't know they had those at grocery stores.
Well, maybe they don't anymore. But when I worked there, this is 30-some years ago. They did. And I always thought, I can't wait till I get there for that discount. Tuesdays, though. That was the only day.
I love that you still remember the day.
I dream of the two of us retired from radio. We go into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame here in the state of Minnesota. We get that Marconi Award we've been deserving for decades. I'm working at the grocery. I'm stocking shelves. You walk in. Maybe we haven't seen each other in a few months. And I point you out to which aisle you can find the Ensure.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
Never had it.
Oh, I used to have to drink that when I was underweight. It was awful.
Isn't that like
it looks good.
Isn't that like something to help old folks with diarrhea? Maybe
no,
I should have picked a better product for the punchline of that joke. I thought Ensure was like a what time is it?
It's a nutritional shake.
What time is it?
Maybe point me to some Activia yogurt.
There you go.
Yeah. That'll get things moving.
Like your girl, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep. You know what? I bought some because of her in those commercials.
Activia. What did you use? What were the next words?
It's yogurt with probiotics.
Probiotic yogurt. We're all headed in that friggin' direction. Oh, man. Some folks hate the self-checkout machine at the grocery. I don't know why. I dig it. Some folks hate it. Here's a couple of text messages on the subject. One listener says, I hate it when the self-checkout machine says, place item in bagging area. And I already did that. Sometimes it says, unknown item in bagging area. And I didn't even put anything over there. And then things get real effed up.
I've had that before.
Yeah, it can be very annoying.
I stopped going to the stores that do that.
There's particular stores that are more guilty than others?
Yeah, I can't think of one because the places I go, it doesn't matter.
Another is really being specific here. Another listener. The one thing I hate about the self-checkout is that it says 10 items or less, where the proper grammar would be 10 items or fewer.
Yeah, I've seen both.
It's getting a little nitpicky, but I love it.
All right, before we get out of here. Damn, Ashley. You can't catch a break. Can't catch a break.
Why?
You're pregnant, and now small boobs are in style.
Right?
Now,
not
of all the times for small boobs to be in style, you get knocked up.
It's not fair at all.
We hear these type of things all the time, and most of these silly trends never gain any actual steam. But, I mean, talk about some piss poor luck. Girls,
yeah, things have been getting out of hand.
Women's are ditching.
You talking about yourself?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Tell us things are getting out of hand up top?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I went and tried to buy some new bras last week, and I guessed what size I was now, and those didn't even work, and so I just threw them all back into the the bin at the store where you return clothes, and just said screw it.
So you're just freewheeling it?
Yeah, I mean I have like tank tops that kind of control things, I guess, or like bralettes, but they're trying to kill me. They strangle me.
Yeah, choke too tight. Oxygen right out of you.
Oh yeah, it hurts so bad.
But I know nothing about the process. You're gonna have to upgrade at one point or another, right?
Yep, eventually.
And those are they expensive?
They can be, especially the ones that are more supportive and better quality.
But I would imagine there's also some cheapies out there where, I mean, it's not like you're, going to be showing them off to anybody.
Yeah, that is true.
You don't have to look fancy in your underwears at this point in your life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So you can buy.
That is a plus.
Right.
But I have to, I have to buy some new clothes for summertime because none of my clothes fit me. It's very depressing.
It's getting out of hand, she says.
Like literally, too. So.
That's the story now. Women are ditching the big silos for what they call here subtle, natural-looking enhancements. Folks call them yoga boobs, Josh, or ballerina boobs.
We had a girl in high school who had a breast reduction, which I didn't know was the thing. I remember implants, and at the time, implants were scandalous, kind of.
Right.
And obviously now it's so common. But all of us were confused. Like, wait a minute, she's getting a reduction. And I guess it was a health issue. They were getting so big that they had to do something about it. Subaru Parts Cheese said his wife went from a 38 triple D to a 34C, and she's way happier now. Yeah, and this girl had said back problems. She was miserable carrying them around.
I have a buddy's wife who just recently pulled her fake boobs out. Just went back to, just got rid of them.
Altogether, didn't go smaller, just...
Yeah, no, just got rid of the implants.
Yoga boobs, ballerina boobs. So the reductions, remember the old joke, right? What every guy on planet Earth would say when a woman would tell them about a reduction or they heard a story about a reduction? It's like thumbing your nose at God, they'd say.
Oh, whatever.
Boobs that are slim, athletic, and just enough to fill out a sports bra are the new thing, just enough to fill out a sports bra. A great man in a documentary called Weird Science from the year 1985 once said, anything more than a handful and you're risking a sprained thumb.
I used to say that. I used to, whenever, I don't know, I guess I would talk about my boobs, I would say, well, they're at least a handful.
Yeah.
So that's all I can hope for.
That's all we can handle anyway.
Yep.
Couple more from the sisterhood. This person says, I was a J by the age of 14, got a reduction at the age of 16.
Oh,
Bisexual gamer Sheeza said, I'm hauling around a pair of G's, and I seriously want ballerina boobs. And some women are saying it's easier to find clothes if you have smaller boobs.
How many?
Oh, yeah.
Is that true, Ashley?
Yeah, and I've had plenty of women tell me, like, they make big boobs make every single shirt sexual, even when you're not trying to be. Yesterday I was thinking about, because I started to sweat really bad in the car, so I took my sweatshirt off and I was in just kind of like a bralette situation. And I thought, gosh, I wish I could just go around like this. This summer's going to be tough. But then I thought I was going to see my dad yesterday, and I was like, what am I going to wear around my dad now? Because I can't wear anything without them popping out the top.
Candy Sheeza said she had a breast reduction a year and a half ago, went from a 38 triple D to a 36C, feels so much better, less headaches and back pain.
Oh, yeah, I bet your back loves you now.
So you're running around town looking like Katy Perry.
Not quite there yet, I wish.
It's not always comfortable.
No.
Small boobs are in. Deal with it. What's it say here? Doctors are seeing a spike in requests for barely noticeable breast augmentations. They say the rise in weight loss drugs play a role in this. So everyone's becoming thinner, and the big cannons look funny hanging off of you now.
Yep.
The days of going as big as possible are over. Women want they want some cans that'll fit their frame. There are a few ways women can go about this. All right, listen up. There are a few ways, ladies, you can go about this, getting those yoga boobs or ballerina boobs. These subtle implants. There's fat grafting. There's giving more oral. Are three ways that can what?
That's not entirely correct.
I don't know about
That's
the third one.
For either way you want to go. If you want to go bigger or smaller, it's the same. It's the exact same.
If you want to go bigger or smaller.
Huh.
See,
All right,
I knew
guys.
Josh would have the exact information.
I've looked it up.
So this is the thing. And many women who are going this route and getting the barely noticeable breast augmentations say that their friends can't even tell. But their confidence has soared.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, everybody should be confident.
Body positive, they say these days.
Yeah.
Everyone should be confident. How about obnoxiously arrogant?
Sure.
No.
No?
Gosh, no, that's the worst.
You get some of that too, don't you?
Oh, you certainly do. We've had a good time this morning. We got to get going again.
Happy birthday to Lincoln, turning the big 06. And today is Bloody Mary Maker, Grill Master Jesus' birthday as well. Celebrating at his first ever Wild game tonight. I'm sure you'll have a blast. Have an awesome Thursday.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.